Sup, pups? Welcome to the show. Well, right now we have Shane Mess.
Hello,
I
everyone.
did. I interviewed Shane a couple months back,
Yep.
just schedule wise, just conflicting and stuff. And but he's back. He was able to get in here when I was like, you need to come back on. Hanging out with Joe too much. Come on, gotta hang out with gotta hang out with other people. Nah, it's all good.
Joe could be
The
a little bit
other
more entertaining than me. He has so much information, like soaks everything in.
Oh yeah. Oh,
He
if
knows
he
a lot of stuff.
yeah, if he my friend sent me a thing that's just like got already got my blood boiling, and I'm sure it would get Joe's like blood boiling too. Like my friend sent me a video about this group of people that are like they analyzed Evangelion and Full Metal Alchemist, and one of those that it's like it's anti-religion and stuff, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like,
They like overthought it, kind of.
oh,
Yeah.
from the little bit I've watched, they are stretching. My favorite is someone in the comments simply quoted Hideki Anno, stating that the only reason they use Christian like symbolism and stuff like that is because they thought it looked cool. But they're making like, and I'm just like, that's it. That's all they're doing. But these, that might be one where I'd love to, like, you, Joe, and if I can get my friend Eric, if we just watch it and just rip it apart, because like,
Yeah. Well, it's a different culture altogether as well. So
mm-hmm,
you're going to take. I mean, just like American culture, we'll take things that we like from their culture and mix it in. Does it mean anything personal or an attack on any religion? A lot of times, we
yeah.
do the same thing all the time. Uh,
Well, my biggest thing, and this was actually something that kind of ties in with like the whole Steven Crowder thing that's happening. I don't care about like if he thought the deal was bad, then the deal was bad, sort of thing. And have you seen that? Have you kept up to date or just seen a little bit of it, or
uh,
even really care?
not really. I mean, I know who he is. I'll watch some of his like little clips here and there, but I
Hmm.
don't follow the show and stuff as much. I know
Okay.
like he didn't get rehired, right? Or if like a
No.
uh like
So
he's getting canceled,
he
right?
stepped. What was that?
He's getting canceled, right? Well, from the show, like or the network
Well,
that
he
he's with,
got
right?
canceled. He got like YouTube like has screwed him over so many times, demonetized and stuff like that. He left the Blaze,
Yeah,
and I guess that was kind of like the biggest thing. And then recently, he got approached by Daily Wire,
yeah,
and and then the whole thing kind of got busted out in the open because he rejected their offer and tried to negotiate, but they didn't really. They pulled it before they could do some more negotiations, from what I've heard. And so he pretty much made a video stating like, this is what's happening. Because the main thing, excuse me, the main thing was censorship or stifling himself if he would join them. Like there would be some sort of self-imposed censorship that he was like, no, like we're
oh,
supposed to be against this sort of thing, and what you guys are doing is just going along with big tech. And so that kind of stemmed into, he made a response, and Daily Wire responded to that. So then he recently just responded to that sort of thing. But like, going off of like what we were talking about with that Ava thing, I think that's kind of where that's where if we I mean if we're getting into the whole left and right sort of thing, that's where the right is really dropping when it comes to fighting against big tech and censorship and stuff like that. And kind of like what we were talking about with Ava, with them going like, being Christian Foundation, but like this is satanic and all that stuff. Like that is part of the main reason why you guys are failing, is because you're alienating people who, that's fine if you have that sort of belief, but like if you're coming at them and saying that this form of entertainment's bad, this form of entertainment's bad, this form of entertainment's bad, you're not making a home for them, and you're not giving them a convincing thing. I think that's
yeah,
a big thing that I think that we're seeing like severely lacking when it comes to like pushing up against this woke mentality and SJW and all that stuff too, is because it doesn't help when our side is saying, well, you can't enjoy that sort of stuff. Well, why? well, as a Christian, it's satanic, or like your belief, it's this, and this. And it's like, well,
Push
one,
back
not
with your own
really.
sort of like censorship's just not a good tactic.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
self-imposed censorship isn't a good tactic, and beating down someone because in entertainment wise the form isn't
Well, that and like
like.
there's a thing when like you can tell when something is
Mhm.
strictly entertainment
Mhm.
versus something with an agenda. Like when you
Yeah.
watch Evangelion or what else did you mention? Full
They
Metal
did
Alchemist.
Full Metal Alchemist.
Like it's mostly just strictly entertainment. There's nothing in there like that's trying to like persuade you on a belief system. Um, I'll take the new Velma show for example. I don't know if you
Oh
watched
gosh.
it. No, I
What's
didn't
up?
watch it, but haven't watched it. But I've seen plenty. I mean, all of us have probably seen plenty of the clips by now, like
Yeah, yeah.
the snippets here and there, where you know,
Mhm.
I'm one of those people like if you want to race swap doesn't really particularly bother me that much. Um, it's still an agenda to me,
Mhm.
like when they race swap, but you can still deal with that. But when you go so far, like they made like Fred like pretty much like the dumb like white kid who's
Yeah.
privileged. Like I saw a clip where like he's in court
Oh
and to
yeah.
yeah, and to
Can't.
prove that he's been, fed his whole life that he couldn't even like cut his steak. Like he had a fork and a knife. He's like, I can't figure this out. And it's like it's supposed to be funny, but you're like, it's just an agenda. It's clearly saying white guys are dumb, black lesbian assholes are,
Or smart.
are
Yeah.
in. They're smarter than this guy just because of
Mhm.
a preference.
Mm.
It has nothing to do with personality anymore. Like they didn't put a personality in Velma. You took everything you want and say this is right. But
Mhm.
if you're this guy, you're wrong. And it had nothing to do with Scooby Doo. There's no solving like an actual, from what I understand, like the traditional solving a mystery back in the day. It was fun. There was no
Yeah.
agenda behind it. You know,
Mhm. It's no,
like
you've hit the nail on the head. Like it's.
like they could have easily took Scooby Doo, and if you wanted to add a couple more characters to the mystery thing to bring it to a little bit modernized era where you want a black kid, you want a lesbian of some sort in it. Okay, well add some characters. Don't take
Mhm.
away uh
Well, that's. Yeah.
established creations, especially like I don't know. I could imagine like creating something and then like fast forward 40 years or so, and then it has nothing. And you've taken everything out of it, every aspect out of the creation other than the name of the characters just for a agenda.
Yep.
Now, I don't know about you, but I haven't seen that in anime. I haven't seen them like other than when Americans get a hold of it for Netflix.
Well,
That goes bad.
I mean, because the Japanese know not to give a fuck.
That's the thing. It's the last. Me and Joe have talked about this plenty of times. It's like the last area of this damn planet you can go to where they still say "fuck it," we're having fun. I mean, they have their government issues and stuff like that. But as far as their
Yeah.
entertainment is just it's entertainment. I don't think
Mhm.
you know.
Well, it's the catch, what is it? 22. It's the catch 22 that these people just don't understand. Is one, your your idea of being inclusive or updating it to modern audiences. We hear that thrown a lot around in video games or for the modern audience. Is one, it's not original and it's not creative because you're taking an already pre-established character that, and let's admit it, it's you determined that something about it was wrong, or the success of it, of the buildup of where it became now, is somehow needs to be rectified and fixed because there's some grave injustice. So then you fix it, and then everyone hates it, and then we go just make your own original characters, and they'll make the argument, yeah, well we do, but you guys don't accept it. It's like, no, it's you don't accept the fact that that shit doesn't sell and it
Yeah,
bombs. Like, and they just refuse to accept that sort of idea that this ideology that you are trying to attach and insert into the media doesn't sell. and you fool yourselves in thinking that it sells, but it
Well,
really doesn't.
well, I think it shows that it's a smaller group than what
Hmm.
media is trying to tell you. I think that about most everything. Like when we watch,
Yeah.
award shows and stuff like that, and all these, uh, not so much like the Rotten Tomatoes and stuff like that, but just so much of that, like,
I forget them.
but you know what I'm saying? Like if something will come
Yeah.
out like, oh, this population of people are saying this about this. I'm like, are they really, or is that just an article? And then everybody just kind of blows up on that article, thinking that many people really care. Because
Well,
apparently,
that's the
the viewership showing
well, that's the
the
funny thing.
opposite. You
That's the
know?
exactly, and that's the funny thing about the Last of Us thing. Last of Us Part 2, the video game, I don't know if you know anything about that. They bitched about it because they claimed that it got review bombed before anybody played it, saying it sucks, it's going to suck, all this and that. But a lot of people provided information of aspects of the game going, this is garbage. But then when it comes to the HBO show, there was like 2,000 plus positive reviews before it even premiered. And I guarantee you there wasn't 2,000 people that premiered the viewing of it. Guarantee
No,
you.
no.
And we're not talking like an 8, 7 sort of thing. We're talking like 10 out of 10. Boom. Exactly like that. No one cared. No one, they didn't bat an eye. They didn't complain about it. So it's that lie. Like it's for
Yeah.
sure like what you were saying, like being manipulated, or like is it really what you're saying it is? You're absolutely correct.
It's just like it's almost like not really bots, but like just it feels like it's just like hired people to go on all of these sites. That way, the top part of it says like 10 out of 10. This is great. This is, because like it don't even sound like how people would even say something. You know what I'm saying? Like
Exactly.
when you look at
Oh
like
yeah.
just the comment section, you're like that doesn't sound like an actual person. It
Mhm.
it feels like a well thought out tweet or
Yeah.
just like, hey,
No,
this is
I
what we're
agree.
going to
I
put on
agree.
day one. We want this on the sites. This is what you guys need to be putting. You
I
know?
agree. Or they just copy and paste the same thing and and then change a couple words and
Yeah.
say that it's good. But I guarantee you there's page shills that just said, "Oh yeah, 10 out of 10. It's amazing." Sort of thing. And
Yeah.
it's like, "Oh my gosh."
Well,
Well,
that and like you will have in any kind of media. There's going to be good and bad. You know,
mhm.
what I'm getting at is I remember when the Obi-Wan show came out. I liked it. I liked the Obi-Wan show,
Mhm.
but these shows are really quick to having a plan that if you don't like it, right?
Mhm.
The reason you don't like it is because this actor is going to tell you why you're the bad guy and why you don't like it.
Oh yeah,
Because
absolutely.
when that came out, do you remember how quick media was to saying the girl that was playing Princess Leia was being attacked online? All this negative stuff was being said. So Ewan McGregor came out with this
Mhm.
video being like fans attacking and making these comments aren't real fans. But what it does, it just turns into anybody who has a opinion about that show. All of a sudden, you're put in a category of, well, you hate little kid actors and you're one of those bullies and and stuff like that. And I can't stand, like, I feel like every time one of these shows come out or a movie
Mhm.
comes out, the first thing we see is a video posted by an actor or an actress um, bad
Yep.
mouthing critics, and usually put them in a category of,
Mhm.
it has nothing to do with the movie. It's like, oh, maybe they just didn't like it, and this is why they don't like it. But you're like, no, you don't like it because you hate child actors, or
Yeah.
you
That
didn't
was
like
a
this race in it, or uh, like, oh, what was that one movie that came out that got a lot of heat?
the one I was thinking of.
Woman King, right?
Woman King? Oh, it sounds familiar. It sounds like absolute garbage, but
Yeah, well, it's about the whole tribe. But
oh
in
yeah, I know.
reality, they actually were slave owners and were
Oh
doing
yeah, yeah,
most of
yeah. I
the
remember that. That
trade.
quickly died off when they knew they
But but
couldn't
but
win that fight.
but exactly, but they tried. They had
Yeah, exactly.
actors coming out and tried to attack people, and then people switched it. They're like, "Well, it's just a movie." Are you sure? Because it seemed like a very agenda placed thing until the actual facts came more and more relevant,
Yeah.
and
Well, that's yeah, and then they try to pull like that's funny that you mentioned it's just a movie. It's like, well, aren't you guys like that's where you guys get your whole like gun control thing? Because you
yeah.
guys think it's like fucking John Wick and the one guy like shooting silencers or
Yeah.
suppressors like in that building when clearly people would notice. Like that's where you guys get your like And now like the whole Alec Baldwin thing, like he's actually being charged with involuntary manslaughter, which he
Yeah.
should have been, in my opinion, because anybody tells you that you should treat the gun as if it's loaded and you should check it, regardless if someone else
Hmm.
checked it for you. Because you don't hear accidents with Keanu Reeves because he actually know.
Especially on movie sets and stuff like that too. You know, it's a little bit more chaotic, and
Hmm.
things are probably getting placed and looked at and moved around a lot. You know, you don't know who touched stuff last, and I don't know. Yeah, like you said though. Um,
Hmm. Well, that one's an interesting one because that one. Because I want to say that like when the incident happened, he was, I think, actually posing for a poster shot or something like that. I don't know if it was an actual part of the scene, but if he was just posing for like a picture for like a poster or something like that, all the more reason of why do you need to have the gun loaded unless you're
mhm,
trying to capture that still frame picture of the actual like muzzle flash, the fire
right.
busting out and the thing going. I'm not exactly sure about that
And
one.
even that, you think you'd have like the if it was meant to be shot at the camera like that. Usually, you'd think there'd be like a something in front
There'd
of the
be a
camera guy,
shield,
anyways.
it'd
Especially
be
if
a
there's actually a
blank.
human there.
Yeah,
You
it'd
know.
be a blank or like loaded with something that doesn't hurt you. But that's the other thing that's the problem too, because the person I think who was the prop person who wasn't like, if I remember correctly, she just got the job because she had a relative who was like an expert in that. So that's how she got that position. But she didn't take the time to learn and train or something like that, or she was very inexperienced and said it was fine when it wasn't.
Mhm.
So now I think she's also now brought back in and being charged as well with the sort of thing. Um, I mean, but as someone with who's well, that's for criminals to find out. But someone who's a responsible gun owner, you always treat it as if it's loaded. I don't care if the cartridge is a dud or a blank or empty, sort of thing. Treat it as if it's loaded. And if you're about to do a shot where, okay, I'm actually firing it in a direction of someone, like what's so hard of going, hey, is this good? Like we're good to go, right? Sort of thing. Like pop it open, check, see. This is the thing is
Yeah.
they complain about gun control,
The
but
fact that it
yet,
wasn't checked like literally seconds before
mhm,
actually handing it to an actor.
yeah,
You know.
I don't get it. And of course, Baldwin's going to try to charm his way out of this, even though, like in a lot
Yeah.
of the interviews, he looks like a complete sleaze bag. But I always thought he was to begin with.
I
So
think the only thing I ever liked him in was probably Beetlejuice.
I was going to say,
It's
I knew you were
probably
saying the only thing I liked him in. I'm thinking to myself, let me guess, Beetlejuice, and
it's
it's like,
probably
yep,
because, I was a kid, so I wouldn't have known, the
yeah,
difference
I
between,
know.
you know yeah.
Gosh, what a, jeez, that whole fiasco, so stupid. Shouldn't even have happened. It's the Brandon Lee curse. it's the
Yeah.
it's the Lee curse all over again. Or I don't know, someone dim mocking Bruce Lee, as they say, is one of the legends I've heard, sort of thing. But yeah, the whole Steven Crowder thing, that's an interesting one. And that again, that ties into the fact of the right needs to like literally get on board with understanding the entertainment side of things nowadays. Because if we're going to talk about like the people in power sort of thing, there are boomers that don't want to learn. And so they'll listen to what the other side is telling them. But my thought would be, well, why don't you have people that actually are up to date with stuff on, in all intents and purposes, our side, and tell you no, they're actually lying about that, or they're twisting it enough to know this is how it actually is, sort of
Mhm.
thing. And to me that ties in with the whole, like even with the liberal arts and stuff like that. Uh, you're just you're it doesn't help. I was thinking about it, and I've turned this phrase before with specifically with Crowder and the whole Daily Wire thing. Like the Daily Wire to me are starting to become very, very close to the Bennies of the world. And when I say Benny, remember Benny from The Mummy with Brendan Fraser?
Benny. Oh,
Remember
yeah,
that
yeah.
movie?
He's like
Remember
his,
that movie?
his enemy. And well, in a
He,
sense, he's like his rival.
he's that friend. He's like, well, isn't it my good friend Benny? And he's like, oh, Connell, I miss you. You know, it's that sort of guy.
Yeah.
But remember when they catch him and Brendan Fraser goes, you came in with the new friend, didn't you, Benny, the mummy? And he's like, it's better to be on the devil's side than in his path. That is what I call being a Benny of the world, is that you're siding with something that you know is completely wrong with the hopes that you're at least out of the target hair, you know, the crosshairs and sort
Hmm.
of stuff, because you don't have the stones to actually stand up and say, no, this is wrong, sort of thing. And I think that with the whole Crowder and Daily Wire sort of thing, I never really true like it's like I never really super followed all of them enough to say like, oh yeah, I tune in on the show every day, but I catch some stuff. But the Daily Wire, especially with Matt Walsh, who specifically, like, there was a thing not too long ago where he talked about like anime and said like, oh, you need to grow up or it's satan, like it falls into the whole satanic thing. And it's like, dude, that's like a part of like a group of people that if you could like actually like understand what the hell you're talking about and realize that a lot of your shit actually doesn't go the way you were thinking it goes, you could like be introducing a lot of new people like into kind of being open-minded and maybe breaking away from the wokeness and stuff like that. But here you
Yeah.
are bad mouthing them because you don't fucking get it. That's my
Yeah.
thing. That's the thing that bothers me about it. I don't know. Like, have you like are you one of faith? Like, do you follow the Bible or not really?
No, actually, believe it or not, you think being around Joe all the time, I'd be.
Hmm.
But I respect it. That's my thing. I respect
Yeah, no, I
religions.
understand.
Um,
I guess I never really asked, so sort of
no,
thing.
no,
But I mean, you don't have to talk about it if you don't want to, sort of thing.
no,
But
it's fine. Yeah, but that also kind of helps the scenario, so people can't like be like,
mhm.
well, it's just two Christians badmouth. I'm like, well, it doesn't work that way.
Well, I mean, well, one, I'll tell you, like a lot of the arguments that the Christians say, like to avoid stuff that even some stuff I disagree with, they don't really know what the Bible's saying in the sense of like, look at the Aramaic and the Hebrew and the Greek, and it actually doesn't mean what you think it means because English is a language that kind of sucks ass and like has so many different words that each one means something specifically where like or no, English is a language that one word can mean many things, where in
Correct.
like Aramaic and Hebrew and Greek, when it's saying this specific word, it doesn't mean anything else. This is exactly what it means, sort of thing. But yeah, that's something to where it's like, man, we got to get on, like we got to stop like turning people off from being like, oh great, I'm being patronized by this person's belief, so because I can't go turn on Gears of War and enjoy the facts. Well, you're enjoying bloodshed. The Bible says you're not supposed to. And it's like, well, first of all, yeah, it does. But second of all, like, you don't understand what it's talking about. Like, it's not like the developers are like secretly hoping that you're performing seances and stuff without your
Right.
knowledge, sort of thing. And
Well,
if
then
there
like you
is,
you
it'd be
kind of get into
blatantly
a
obvious.
well, just the way the world is on an everyday basis of
Hmm.
how people get through day by day.
Yeah.
If you you strip down and try to come up with this is what you have to accept as entertainment
Hmm.
through your daily life, you're not going to get very far. You know what I'm saying? Like
No, I agree. Like,
it's already bad
you're,
enough when people working 9 to 5s and then home life and whatever they got going on. And
mhm.
then when it comes to entertainment, it's supposed to be entertainment, but then you got like people being like, well, no, this can't be entertainment to you. Then
Yeah,
you're kind of like,
because
well,
it,
what's left?
well, that's the
you
that's the
know?
other thing too. And actually, as as one that tries to follow the Bible as best as I can and understand what God's saying to me, like the entire world, like the Bible says the world is Satan's. So technically anything can be corrupted and displeasing to the world. So like if you're nitpicking this one little thing, it's like, well, what do you enjoy? Oh, I like books. Oh, what are you reading? well, this one, it's like, oh, didn't you know, like I could be that person and like nitpick back at you,
Oh
sort of thing,
yeah, I've had
sort of thing. And it's like you can't, if you're trying to win people over or trying to at least bring new people into the thing, like you can't, well, one, know what you're talking about. Because honestly, a lot of these people don't know what the hell they're talking about. They're just spewing. They're literally the people standing on the corner, like screaming at people, "You're going to hell," sort of thing. And I've actually like yelled at one of those guys back at Anime Matsuri because it's like, dude, you're not teaching the word at all. You're
yeah,
you're
just making a
completely,
scene. Like it's like
yeah, you're
yeah.
completely wrong about it, sort of
Well,
all.
because
And it's
well,
like,
at that point, it's not a conversation. That's another thing. People don't like to have
yeah.
conversations anymore. That's a with today's technology. I say so much stuff's over the internet through keyboard warriors and stuff like that, where it's
Well,
not even conversations about anything. So you're not really ever going to change anybody's mind when it becomes more
no, yeah, yeah, that
a
too.
head. But anyways, but yeah, I mean, people like who out in the street when they're just yelling, just crazy stuff. I'm like, you're not really reaching anybody because you're not conversation. It's
Well, especially over, and I'll say even over in the Western culture, like, unfortunately, people don't resonate with that sort of preaching, that sort of evangelism sort of thing. Because believe it or not, like more east and stuff like that, like kind of like more central, they can kind of be more receptive because a lot of creepy stuff happens over there, like like the a lot of demonic shit happens over there. But like, yeah, I mean, and but if you go over east, then like you can't even believe in that sort of stuff. So it's like you're not helping anybody by yelling at them on the street because you don't really
yeah.
have, one, they don't even know what they're talking about or they're twisting the word, and two, like don't really have signs to back it up, sort of thing too. So but that's going down
Well,
like it.
I think with
Hmm.
every kind of religion, hobby, uh,
Hmm.
anything you're into, there's always going to be extremist.
Yeah, no,
You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
absolutely.
And there is going to be some people that's just maybe just they're just not quite
Hmm.
all up upstairs. I always think that sometimes when you see some of the really like they can be really intelligent people. They can know like they
Hmm.
can quote the whole Bible, but there can still be something a little just screwy off. Like
Well, I mean,
you ever talk to somebody like especially I'm sure if you go to Comic Cons and stuff, you're going to come across people. They can be the nicest people,
oh yeah.
but it's like their brains function so differently. Like you can tell they can't have like a regular conversation with somebody, if that
Hmm.
makes sense. They can talk to you. They can give you the whole layout of an anime, say for instance.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um, but their conversational skills are just so lacking that like they're so tuned in what they're talking about. It's usually a one-sided conversation anyways, because they go, this happens, this happens, this happens, and this happens, this happens. The next thing you know, you're sitting for like two freaking hours. Like,
Hmm.
man, there's a reason this guy's probably by himself today.
Yeah.
We got a bad storm here, so
I was
hopefully.
gonna
Did you
say,
see my lights go?
yeah,
Either
I
that
was
or
like, uh-oh, like what's happening? Do I have to
if you
do
see
something?
shadows behind me, well, the shade's going to get across out. But
Oh gosh, is it like storming pretty bad?
yeah, we got like a really, really bad windstorm under like severe thunderstorms and stuff like that.
Oh gosh. You're in
Yeah.
Ohio
Ohio.
too, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Jeez. Reminds me of Illinois.
But yeah,
Dude.
like you get those. So like, I never take it offensively when
Hmm.
I see like whatever the religion is. I mean, most likely since we're here in America, especially here like in Ohio, we're having some crazies. You're going to get more of the Christian base because it's just more
No,
popular.
yeah. Hmm.
But But I'm never one of those people that take it like personally, like, well, this is what's wrong with Christians. They got crazies out on the street. Because a lot of times like I say there's just people out there in every culture and everything that just
Hmm.
you're gonna have some oddballs that just are just there.
Well, it's
you know?
unfortunate too because like they could be very intellectual and stuff like that, but like
Yeah.
I mean for me personally, like it can be a combination of many things, like actual like being demonically influenced sort of thing if we want to go more of that extreme too. And if you're demonically influenced, like demons aren't retarded. They've been around forever. They know the scripture and they know how to twist it, sort of thing. So yeah, but like I agree with what you said. There's extremists and everything. That's why I tell him to get
Exactly.
the back the fuck up. Like what Carl says. Isn't it clear I'm gonna completely fuck your ass up unless you
I
take three
remember
steps back?
back in early 20s. Actually, I think I was probably about actually 17 because one of my first job was working at KFC, and like I remember this.
KFC. Oh boy.
Yeah, and we just had this guy that would sit
Not.
out like out at the in the parking lot, and he'd just be like raving like scripture and stuff, and like he had a necklace, but it had a license plate and just said Jesus. But man, he was just crazy. He's definitely one of the more the you could just tell something wasn't right in his head, because he wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Unfortunately.
logical. Like I say, it's weird because like
Hmm.
I do think you are going to come. Like I say, you're going to have people that are raised Christian. They're going to have some people in their family that have illnesses as well. But
Hmm.
they're brought to the church, so their brains are going to know a lot of this stuff, and I think that illness will kind of blend in with their belief system. So then they get really hooked on, and so then you get your crazy uncle out there just being like,
No.
the
Yeah.
day is coming,
Well.
But
Yeah.
you can't use that against a whole group of religious people.
No. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
I find it the same way. Uh, I don't know if this is still on the same topic, but you know how we talk about the Velma being
Hmm.
extreme, way extreme,
Hmm.
um, on its beliefs of things.
Hmm.
But you will find anymore, like you are starting to see videos and stuff coming up of actual gays and lesbians making videos, being like, okay, this is gone too far. This isn't what we stand for. We're not out here to have the drag queen competitions with 6-year olds at them and stuff like that. That is an adult entertainment. Like, that's not bringing anybody into a culture. That's not what we're for. So I think that's another thing that we're starting to see a little bit more of people, even on that far side of a belief system, being like, there are limitations of
My
what's acceptable. You know,
my theory of my theory is starting to become more and more supported when you see those extreme people like canceling people, like the recent thing, like limited run games fired a conservative person, like a community manager. They fired someone, and dude, because some weirdo was like, oh, she supports uh Hogwarts legacy, she's transphobic and all this stuff like that, blah 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 blah. So one raving lunatic, I think there was like one other person that like literally was hired a month ago and was like some mediocre like music audio engineer person, and was like, I will not work here. That person's still there, so maybe someone else as well. But for the most part, one major person that this one company caved to and fired someone else and got huge, like still getting huge backlash from. So the internet, being the internet, did some snooping on the raving lunatic who got the person fired, uh, Diddler. And that's my theory of when you see the raving lunatics that are screaming like you're anti-transphobic and stuff like that, chances are they're into the diddling.
that is
That's
diddlers.
my theory that's starting to become more and more plausible, because that's usually when people discover what skeletons are in their closet. That's the big one. And I'm just like, uh like,
I
you
I
weirdo.
also feel like there's a cultural depression going on with a lot of people. I think we got a lot of younger people not knowing what to do with themselves, and I feel like
Yeah.
the expression is like just rage. It's almost like having a bunch of like 14-year-olds,
Hmm.
like that age when you just start rebelling. But I feel like we're starting to get that more with like college kids. Like it's kind of gone up a little bit. And it
Yeah,
has not I don't think it has to do as much with their beliefs as they want to think it does, or their ways of life, as I don't think they just know what to do with themselves. I think there's a lot of people out there right now
I agree.
with either having a lot of money issues, uh, with degrees they don't know what to do with, and they're
Or
looking for a
degrees
reason
that
to
does nothing for him.
and they're looking for a reason to stand for something. Because a lot of times when topics come up, Some of them will last longer than others. But a lot of it's stuff that nobody cared about or cares about until the media is telling you to care about it. And then all of a sudden there's rallies and riots and activists that did not care 2 minutes ago. But now that there's a story about it,
Hmm.
everybody's an expert. Everybody's an expert on everything. And because I think there's a lot of rage. I think that people want to stand for something and they don't know what to do with it. So those they won't do facts. They don't care about the facts. They just want to be a part of something. And since this majority agrees with this thing, I'm going to, and they
Hmm.
got to be right. So again, it goes back to nobody wanting to listen. It's just but heads. But as long as you have it's almost like having a support system. To something, even if it's something you didn't care about. I don't even know. I can't even think what it'd be right now. Like if all of a sudden there was like sinkholes everywhere, and then you know what I'm saying, and then like somebody's like, "Well, the reason there's sinkholes here is because this, and this," and then somebody else like,
Oh,
"You're
there
right.
was something funny enough. No,
I do hate those sinkholes." And the next thing you know, you got like,
you're pretty close. I think I
"Oh,
actually
am I?"
saw I think I saw a video on like literally Twitter. Well, I don't know why I threw in literally, but I did see it on Twitter. But like the guy was complaining about sinkholes and then turned it into climate change. So
Exactly.
you actually were on point. So nice job.
Yeah, and you know what the thing is? Scientists will probably find out that had nothing to do with climate change, and it has to do with some type of, the shift in the plates or something that
Hmm.
happens, and we just had some weak, you know, structures on the Earth or something. Just it
Hmm.
ended up being something that has nothing to do with that. But since that one guy says it, and then if he gets enough of the followers, it
Yep.
doesn't matter. It's a flat Earth. That's another thing. Nobody cared what 7 years ago about this whole flat Earth thing. But social media and stuff made it so big to where a lot of
Well,
those people too are trolls themselves. Like I don't think they really believe it themselves. Like the big ones that are actually like make channels of it because they get a lot of views. They're
hmm,
like, look, I get like, you know,
yeah.
trillions of followers, but a lot of their followers, it's something to stand for. It's something to believe. It's something to look up every day. It's something to post. They're a part of something.
Hmm.
You
No,
know.
I agree. Like, and I think I definitely do agree that it's getting into a lot of the older people now. Um,
Hmm.
I think I've always saw it as, especially with the younger generations, I think it's a fad. Like,
Yeah.
like the whole LGBTQ thing is a big fad. Um, and it sucks because there's people that actually like do have gender dysphoria and stuff like that, and it's being intermixed with the activists who really don't care about it. They're using it as a means to protect themselves, to be in that
My
protective.
thing, do you run into these people? I don't on my daily basis. I do not run across like the most outraged, angry LGBT community type person that is put on display for us.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times, it's like you say, you're coming across a TikTok, right? That's another thing. Like the right
Hmm.
has to be careful of as well is to not play into the same kind of demographic that we put them by being like, well, the internet's telling us that these people are this way. But a lot of times it's because you got a 20-year-old TikToker with like green hair with lip piercings yelling at you, and
Another.
then you're supposed to have a reaction to it, and then you go find your buddies, be like, "Can you believe these people are this way?" But I really believe on a daily basis, you don't really come across a lot of this extreme thought. Now the media is that way
Yeah.
though. Like the entertainment's telling you that way. And then that's what I say. That's where there's a TikToker will come in and then make you think like, oh, you know, this is
I'm
the
I,
right.
I'm a I'm a I don't know. I feel like I'm a bad example to do that because I feel like I've seen that. Well,
Oh yeah.
I feel like I have come across them, but one, it's at Starbucks, and the only reason I'm in Starbucks is because I'm delivering and like picking up an order to take out. And they actually work at Starbucks, but they haven't gone crazy or anything. But I've ran into a couple. I mean, I don't care in the end. I just think it's funny.
Yeah,
Because some of the design choices, I'm like, really? Like there you could have had a better outfit or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, like I haven't really come across. But then again, like I said, I'm a bad example because at times I want to be the Bugs Bunny where he says, "Fight fire with fire, I say," and as he
Yeah.
pushes down the dynamite trigger to blow up Wile E. Coyote. So I'm a bad example. But no, I haven't. Yeah, I agree with what you said that it is quite curious to go where exactly all this is happening, sort of thing. But then again, I don't. Wherever these people are hanging out, I probably don't hang around there to be
Well,
to
again,
be.
I think more of it's more of a media take,
Yeah.
telling you something's
Okay.
bigger than what it is, if
Hmm.
that makes sense. It's
No,
almost like saying,
I
like,
see
like
I
when
see what you
peop
mean. Yeah.
yeah, when people say, like, all Christians are this way, and then they wanna categorize every Christian into, like, this crazy
Hmm.
person that just sit there, like, every day and makes their kids get the Bible out before dinner, but, that's not the reality of, I think, an everyday most Christians.
Usually the extremists when it comes to Christianity is are twisting it in some way, shape, or form. Because really, the people who do take the Bible seriously don't act like that at all.
Exactly,
It's
yeah.
more of but again, these people have made it that extreme that people will see it like that and they'll do the mental gymnastics to justify themselves. But for me, it's like if one were to ask me what the Bible says, I'm going to tell you. And if it's some harsh stuff, I'm not pulling my punches because you asked me, sort of thing.
Exactly.
But it's not like I'm bashing you over the head,
Well,
get
that's what
her.
that's what I think about this whole, like, when I come across those videos, like, of, like, a teenager or a young person, it seems like mostly, being
Mhm.
like, "My pronouns are this, and you will, you know, address me as this pronoun." But, like, I mean, how often do you really come across that in life where that's actually a thing? But it's making society think now that, like, you can't just say, "Hey, what's up, man?" Because
Mhm.
then, "Are you assuming I'm a man?" You know what I'm saying? But I really don't think it's
No,
I
I
think
see
that
what you're saying.
yeah.
I actually know two transgender people,
Mhm.
and both of them don't really care about the pronoun thing. And with one person who I specifically asked, just because I just said, "Hey, out of respect, because I respect you, I don't care if if you want me to call you that, I don't care. I'll do it out of respect, but it's still not one of those things to where it's like if it slips, I'm not going to apologize for it, sort of thing."
Yeah, yeah.
And they're just, but they just go when I say when I go, "Yeah, dude," sort of thing. They even said they're like, "Dude's a neutral term." I'm
Yeah,
totally
yeah.
fine with it. But if you said it to these weirdos freaking out and stuff like that, they'd be pissed at it. Because really a lot of these people just want to be left the fuck alone. That's the real thing. The actual
Well,
legit
yeah,
people want to be left alone. It's the activists that are fucking everything up, saying
that's
we're
my
doing this for
thing.
the greater good, and it's like, no, you're not.
It's
Because half the
it's
time
the
you're
people
fake.
that wanna stand out. Like I said, they have nothing else to stand for. They have
Hmm.
nothing else going. They don't have a career. So what it is, they want to have almost like "I'm a better person than you" kind of mentality. Like, "You
Hmm.
will call me this, or you will." I'm like, "I don't what? One, you're not my boss, so it's not like you're a
Yeah.
superior to me." You know? Most likely, I don't under like I said, I don't understand where that attitude comes from. Like
I
like,
think
I
it.
don't I mean, how many people do you run to out in the real world that you actually even talk to other than, like, if you're, like, getting groceries and you say, "Thank you," or you buy in something, you're like, "Have a nice day." Like, that's about
Mhm.
the
They want to be
extent
a.
of the conversation. Like, I don't go my way, bump into somebody at Walmart and be like, "Excuse me, ma'am, sir, miss howdy dog person."
Yeah.
You don't
I
do
think
that. It's not
that
natural
it's not no, I
occurrences.
agree. It's not
It's social
natural, and I
media stuff. It's
it
people that
is.
sit in the
It's
basement
it
getting angry at the world, and then it's almost like the crazy guy at the plate. These things just go through their head, and it's bigger in their head than the reality of it.
it's that
And
dopamine hit. They want that dopamine hit from being
yeah,
online to happen in real life, or it's a lot of it I think is a self-inflicted victim mentality that
hmm
isn't being helped and fixed through a certain side saying, "Yeah, you are the victim and we're the ones that are going to save you." Because in the end, the elitists hate everybody. Like you're gonna have the elitist that says we're gonna do this for the greater good, and then you'll have the elitist that will say like, yeah, go ahead and just make us look like the bad guy, because in the end, we're all in the orgy together, sort of thing.
Yeah. The whole point of everything is don't fuck with our anime. That's all we're trying to say.
Exactly, folks. Don't look. We just want to enjoy Full Metal Alchemist and Evangelion without you looking into some stuff and saying
You know
it's
what,
satanic.
that and like yeah, exactly. And you know what? It's still a cultural truth that still come out with new material without having to take something and make it its own for an agenda. That's
Mm-hmm.
what I like about manga and anime, and that's why I've been reading and watching more of it than anything
I saw that.
because it's own culture. It's got new stories. No, yeah, a lot of times like the more I read, they do kind of I wouldn't say rely. They do a lot of demons. I'm like, okay, how many stories do I have to get where it's like,
Oh,
I think
oh no, I
one out of
agree with
every
you
five
there.
manga, it's like, oh, demons
Like
this or demon that. I'm like, can you guys do
I've
something a little bit
actually
different?
started reading Demon Slayer, and
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just like, and everyone's like, it's so good, and I'm reading it. I'm like, I mean, it's not bad. I
It's not bad, but I mean, it's been done. I mean, it's
Yeah,
nothing
that's what I
new.
think. I think
Yeah,
that I mean, a lot of the new animes nowadays are based off of, the artist or the creator said, "Well, I really watched this one growing up." So, I think
yeah,
that that magic of having an original concept in the sense of something that truly hasn't been done before is very, very close to fading away, because
yeah,
everything is going to be now based on, well, this is what it was based on, back in the 90s and 80s, sort of thing. Now, if you can figure out a way to take original, like, already done concepts and introduce it in a new way, shape, and form, I mean, I think that's kind of where we're at now. Then all power to you. But I agree 100% with all this demon stuff. I see it more with the isekai. I can't tell you how many fucking times there's an isekai being dropped, and I'm just like, I don't care. Like, do something else. Like, come on. Like,
yeah. Because it's an easy concept. It doesn't take much
mm-hmm.
creativity. Where they get you is they got good imagery with them. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
their animation is a lot better anymore than America's if you're watching the anime side of things. Uh just that they got just the way they frame stuff like say a
Mm-hmm.
demon's eyes in the back of its head and just like rolls forward, it kind of shakes a little bit, then a vein just just weird shit. You're like, what the
Yeah.
fuck is going on?
Although
So
I
they're really good with that. But as far as the storytelling,
mm-hmm.
like I say, about every one or two you watch, it's going to be something about okay, demons, and they
Yeah. Like I said, but if you can convince me in a clever way to reintroduce it in a if you can take the overused elements and reintroduce it in a new way and convince me, then we're good, sort of thing. But yeah, I do agree. Like I said, my biggest thing is isekai. I can't tell you how many fucking isekais are coming out on. I accidentally got turned into a blob. I'm accidentally overpowered, or
hmm
I'm this, I'm that. It's like, okay, so you're literally looking at an MMO RPG and then focusing on one aspect of it and just making an entire story out of that. Like, you're literally going down a list of like, what's in a what's in a oh, indie wrestling. What's up, man? He says, "Hail, peeps. Hail, hail.
Hey.
What's up?" We're just shooting the breeze and shit. Indie wrestling.
Oh, it's
Ace.
Ace. What's up, Ace?
Aces. Oh, cool. Where the fuck is Joe? What the hell happened? Did he fall asleep again?
I don't know. Who
That
knows?
douchebag.
He'll end up
That's all.
texting me like 3 o'clock in the morning, probably.
What's up?
He'll probably end up texting me at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, okay.
Who knows?
Uh, I'm gonna have to yell at him again. That's all right though. It's all good. So I put your guys' info in the description. So can you here? We can actually look it up. Swarm. You said, is that like, are people still like just signed up to get notified of what's happening? Is that
Yeah, yeah, because I want to have it completely done and actually a print in hand before I start the campaign. I know it's not the traditional way that we usually do stuff. A lot of times people want the Indiegogo, and then they're usually they're like 6 or 7 pages that's done.
Oh, I
But
found it. Here we go.
with our little community, we get backlash a lot. Like people are like, well, look, there's CG not getting a project done, and it's not really true. There's only a handful that like are that I've backed. I'm still like, okay, am I going to get this or not? But majority of them I
Mhm.
have gotten. But just to stop that from like happening to me, if I can get the book done, fortunately enough, I'm able just to you know scrape my funds as I go and get the book where I want it before I put it out on
Mhm.
Indiegogo.
Well, usually, I mean, obviously, when you're running with the whole indie thing popping off, you're gonna, and if it's your first time doing it, like you're gonna run into problems, and maybe
Hmm.
not be as quick. But any of the naysayers that are like, there they go, they didn't beat it, they're fake. I just tell them, all their hatred and stuff.
That's your problem, fuckface.
That's what I say. That's your
Yeah.
problem. That's, uh,
Yeah, my first campaign did really well. I didn't run into too much trouble when I did Cryptic Legends. Um,
nice.
but I figured, I was working on this while, Joe's working on Death, Death, Death.
Hmm.
Uh, it gave us time to just focus on Death, Death, Death without, having to.
Which is gay that Indiegogo's shadow banning it.
Yeah, yeah.
What a bunch of fuckers.
Well, that's another thing that me and Joe's been talking about getting a
Hmm.
proper website set up and all that.
Hmm.
It makes tax season not as fun, but we want to make sure our backers or whoever
Yeah, get
you know
up to date and
it's
all.
there.
Yeah, yeah. I absolutely, I understand that absolutely. Joe Indie Wrestling says Joe probably passed out on his drawing table, drawing death, death, death. I know. What the fuck? Although I was really late in getting this set up because I sent you the link like 30 minutes before. Oh my gosh. Talk like ugh. I hate it.
Well,
I
that's all
got
right because remember I forgot about the time difference. I was up like an hour before. I'm like, I think he's still doing a show.
no, yeah. Well, never feel bad going like, dude, what are you doing, fag? Like, send me this shit. And I'll be like, okay, sorry. Swarm is gonna be the next new best new comic of the year. Here it is, the Indiegogo, where you can sign up and get latest updates and new information. This is it, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's it. Hmm.
That's the one I picked, like that I when we talked last
Yeah,
time.
right now I just got the
Was it
sign
there?
up
I
thing
guess
right
I was
now.
saying like, was there anything new added? But look at this. Look at
Oh,
this.
gotcha.
Look at that. Look at that. Dude, look at that hot guy flipping around. What is that? Swarm? Is that
Yep.
Swarm?
Yeah, that's Swarm.
Look at him. Got a little gun turret right there. Gotta avoid it. There's his wings. And then guy with the long tongue. Obviously Venom influenced. I don't know. I'm just
That's actually yeah, you're fine. Uh, we have a collage
that's
piece
dope.
made of like a
What's
couple
up?
different characters. That actually has a piece where it has Sween's Oddity. It has a
Oh, cool.
It has the Death character. It has Mothman and it has Swarm all on that. That's going to be coming with it. Uh,
Nice.
and if you go to my if anybody gets interested, if you go to my Twitter, you'll find a lot
Hmm.
of the images and
In the
stuff there.
description, by the
I'm
way.
usually posting stuff. Yeah.
Yep, it's all in the description. So I mean, you like seeing hot guys doing flips over turret guns. This is what you're you're doing. I'm just
That's what you're into.
that's what you're into. Fucking back
Sweaty
this
guys
up.
in tights.
I'm gonna be pre-ordering 5. But
So
yeah,
anything
Joe.
new on the video game side for you that you're excited about? I know we talked about the anime.
Um yeah, video games. Well, like I said,
'Cause you're
honestly
talking
the
about
whole
Last of Us.
yeah, The Last of Us, that was something that I just think is funny. Because that's kind of based off of the HBO show, which, like I said, people were positive bombing it like before it was even premiered, saying it's like a solid 10 out of 10. And then the episode came out, and people were saying like the reactions. I haven't seen it yet, and honestly, I don't plan on seeing it anytime soon. and I don't even think I have an HBO, but you know, if I were to try to acquire it in some way, shape, or form, I would be yo-hoing it in in all intents and purposes. But from what I've heard, it's okay. I mean, it's the first episode. A lot of people said it wasn't. A lot of people are saying it actually isn't bad, but it's okay, mediocre from what I'm hearing, sort of thing. But my biggest thing with the whole Last of Us, like gaming in general, is part two is complete fucking garbage. Like that's the story's bad. One, I didn't mind it so much, but like what I said in the thing, like I honestly don't see where the people who are saying The Last of Us is a masterpiece. I honestly don't see where it comes from because I thought the story was okay. I actually like the concept of for all intents and purposes, zombies not being your traditional zombies. Like The Last of Us is more of like a fungus like infection sort of idea as
Yeah.
opposed to like a virus and when you die you're reanimated sort of thing. I
Now,
really like that concept
do you
of it.
think this is going to bring anything that The Walking Dead hasn't brought us, though? That's what I'm wondering. Like, because me, like when I remember I got to like the Last of Us game late,
Hmm.
and I actually got bored of it really quick. Like, I know it wasn't my thing. I understand why people like it, but for me, I'm like, at that point, I was already kind of just
But
over a lot of
you
the
said
zombie stuff.
the Last of Us, like you
Yeah,
actually played the game or The
the
Walking.
first one. Now,
Yeah, yeah.
and I know it had a little bit more than just the zombie aspect. You actually had like military type people to fight and stuff. But
Hmm. No, like that's the thing I don't like. I'm with you. That's the thing I don't get. I didn't get bored with it, but I didn't see where think people are like this is like again. I've heard people say it's a masterpiece. I don't see where the masterpiece is. The controls weren't bad. Were they revolutionary? No. The
mhm.
story was fine. It was good. I liked it. I don't, it's like okay, like I enjoyed the game. I don't think it's a masterpiece by any means, sort of thing. And I find like, but I do find it interesting that you said that you got kind of bored with it because I do actually also see the element of the over glorified cinematic walking simulator that a lot of it.
Yeah.
I remember a lot of that taking place in the game. I
Yep.
I agree with you on that, and I think that's where a lot of games are starting to go into
You know
because
what game you can't find anymore?
what
I
game?
actually I was in a weird mood the other day, and I'm like, you know what? Because somebody posted something about like what's your favorite video game movies, and one of my all time favorite. I mean, most people go right to Mortal Kombat, which Mortal Kombat is pretty good.
First one's good.
Yeah,
Annihilation's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. It's the first one. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. The second one was terrible. Even the new one like had a couple of visuals that was cool, but overall it was stupid.
Is that the Legacy or Legends? Mortal
Uh,
Kombat
I don't
Legacy?
know if I think it was just called Mortal Kombat, right? I don't know. It was the one that came out like maybe 3 years
I
ago.
never got into it.
It has like it's kind of cool because it had Cabal in it, but he was so stupid at the same time.
The last one, like the last live action Mortal Kombat I remember seeing was when it was that YouTube
Yeah,
episodes. Do you
yeah.
remember those?
I got it came out in like a collection. Like you can get Mortal Kombat 1, 2 together and that mini
Okay,
series,
because I remember
which I think
those.
that was called Legacy.
Okay, I remember seeing that one, and I kind of like the certain twists to it. But then I
Mhm.
never saw that recent one. But I interrupted you. What were you saying
No,
about
you're
the movie?
fine. Um, Silent Hill. I think Silent Hill has probably been my favorite video game to movie adaptation, and I have found out it is almost nearly impossible to find the first Silent Hill. Like, I was like, "I wonder if I can get that on my PlayStation." I went on my PlayStation Network, not available. My Switch, not available. And I don't know if it's on Xbox, but I don't think it is. And
I
then
don't
my
know.
buddy, I work with, he kinda got the itch. He's like, "Man," 'cause he streams games and stuff, and he kinda is, like, getting
Nice.
that Silent Hill itch, and, he's like, "Man, I went online, maybe I'll just buy it." He said it's like, just for the original copies, like 100 something dollars. I'm like, "Silent Hill?" I'm like, "That's kinda of all
Wait,
these games."
the PlayStation one?
Yeah, like the original, like
Black PS
OG PS1
PS1. I have
Silent
it.
Hill.
I have the Black Label one. Yeah, they're probably retarded expensive now.
Yeah, I just figured that they would have had it like, remastered or just, on a
No,
platform.
weird enough, it's like the same thing with Metal Gear Solid, the first one. They technically remastered it with Twin Snakes, but that's only for GameCube, and I doubt Nintendo's going to let it go anytime soon. But I've been waiting for a Metal Gear Solid 1 remaster for a long time. But yeah, Silent Hill, that's a good one. Everyone
Yeah,
loves
I
Silent
like
Hill
to see
2.
that as a TV show. Like I said, I just feel like Last of Us. Like I know people's excited about it, but to me, for me personally, I don't see they're going to be able to do anything that The Walking Dead already hasn't done as far as like the suspense. Here's a zombie kind of creature. Like I know it's going to have a little bit.
Well,
But then again, Walking Dead also still had man versus man in it, so I'm like, I don't know what
But
this is going to really bring.
here's what this is what I've heard from some people. One, which I think one of the big concepts of the whole The Last of Us Part 2 is the whole spore thing, like the fungus spore thing. From what I've heard, that's not really the focus anymore. And I'm like, well, that's the main part of The Last of Us Part 2. And this ties into what I was thinking about, where I feel, can you take this story and strip away The Last of Us from it? If you could do that and it was still a good enough, compelling story to be original, then that's what you should have done. Because then to me, all what you're doing is you're slapping a silent or The Last of Us skin onto it and banking on the fact of if it gets backlash for being garbage or mediocre, that the franchise will at least save it or get the money back. That's the very first time I heard it, like gut punch feeling is you're just hoping that the franchise will save it. Because the only reason,
just like the Resident Evil, that didn't even save it. Like Resident Evil.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That didn't even the franchise didn't save that Netflix.
Yeah. Well, the thing
was
with
so bad.
Resident Evil, I think with the live action, the thing with Resident Evil is that there was, well, ultimately in the end, there was some SJW crap thrown in there.
And Netflix one, oh yeah, definitely.
I think Resident Evil wasn't as bad, but I think the thing with The Last of Us, and you especially saw this in the game, because the video game industry has been infested with a bunch of woke shit, they went super hard with the woke message in Part 2. Like super hard.
Yeah, I remember people being outraged before the game even came out. Like I never played it, and I'm like, man, people are just
they were
big
pissed.
fans are like, this
they
is
were
stupid.
pissed because literal established characters, like the established characters at the end of that game, completely did a 180 in Part 2. I think that the only reason, again, why Part 2 was, quote, successful, because I don't think it was successful, is because it was infested with SJW and they went super hard with it. That's why it won all this awards. And I'm just like, bullshit. Like, and the reason they won the awards is because they bashed Ghost of Tsushima, because there was some white guy playing some Japanese flute, and they bashed it for, oh, you're whitewashing, even though it was the most diverse team. People found out. But unfortunately, Ghost of Tsushima came to that mentality. And I think with this show, it's the same way, where I think there was enough sucking of the dick of it because it catered to the woke ideology that it may not be, as bad, or they're really going to push that is just a masterpiece because they did it with the second game. That's what I think of it too. But then ultimately in the end, I didn't really, I don't really care about the whole thing. But the other thing I heard as well is, again, it's some people are saying it's The Last of Us Part 2 skin, meaning the only thing of The Last of Us that's in it are the names, some of the clothing style, and that's it. Like a lot of elements of what I guess you could say made The Last of Us isn't in there. But again, this is only episode 1. We don't know. But my biggest thing is this whole spore thing. Sounds like it's not in there, which to me defeats the purpose, because to me, that's what stood out as The Last of Us being unique. It's not your typical virus. It's not your flesh-eating virus. It's a fungus, a mind-controlling, like, insanity fungus.
Yeah.
But yeah, so your favorite, what's your favorite video game-based movie? Do you have a favorite?
I said it's probably Probably Silent Hill. I just feel like when you watch it, you really feel like you're brought into that world. I mean, yeah, the graphics don't stand as well now, but
I thought
it's still
Pyramid Head. I
it's
thought
still
Pyramid Head
fun.
was dope
Yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
that
Like I
movie.
said, I don't know, man. The sound, it's just like
Yeah.
when like the thing the walls start peeling because
Oh
you know it
yeah.
goes into like the other like kind of dimensional
Yeah,
feel.
literally going into Silent Hill. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
that
just
was awesome.
so much stuff that happens in it. Uh,
Well, that's kind
just
of what
crazy, man. I
that's
don't know.
kind of what
It's a crazy movie. Not so much the second one. I don't remember too much of the second one.
I never saw it. I saw the first one. I was kind of I was like, "Oh, Sean Bean's in there. Cool." I like Sean
Yeah,
Bean.
yeah.
Um no, dude, the best part when freaking Pyramid Head pulls that one lady's skin off and just
Oh man, he like because he twists it.
yeah, he twists. I was like,
He doesn't
"Holy
just
crap."
he doesn't just grab her and like rip the skin. He just
Dude, it was
does like a
amazing.
weird twist and her skin just goes with it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh man,
woo.
I thought that was dope. Like by
That
no
was like
means
a
was it a like a masterpiece movie or anything like that.
no.
That was pretty
That
good.
was like a
And then of course
Hellraiser
the
moment.
barbed wire moment
Yeah,
at
yeah. When
the
she gets
end,
revenge on all of them at the end.
just dancing in the blood rain.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, that movie wasn't too terrible. I
Yeah,
think
I think for being a video game movie, it actually tried to stick to the source material and give you the, you know, the feel
yeah,
of the
because
game.
they kind of merged a lot of stuff. Is the second one with what's her face from Silent Hill 3, right? The one girl.
I
That's the
from
second
Silent Hill
one, right?
3, I think Silent Hill 3,
It's with that one girl. I can't remember her name.
I assumed that the girl that's like in Silent Hill, like the first one, I didn't know if that was supposed to be loosely based off the Silent Hill 3 girl.
Well, the first one's Sybil, and technically you're Harry Mason. You're the
And the
dad
third one?
in the video game. Yeah, and you're trying
Oh,
to find your daughter. But no, Sybil's the police officer. Cheryl? I think your daughter's name is Cheryl. And then there's Sybil, the police officer. That was in there, but the mom is the main character in
and that was the second one or the third one?
in the first movie. In the
Oh, sorry.
second one,
I thought you were talking about the game. My
no,
bad.
the game you're the dad. In the game
In the
you're
first
Harry.
one.
In the first one, yeah, you're
Yeah,
Harry.
yeah.
The second one you're James, and then the third one you're a girl, the little
Yeah,
girl.
yeah. So, see, I knew the third one you were a girl because I remember walking around in the I think it was a zoo. Was it a zoo or a
An
amusement park or
amusement
something?
park. Yeah.
Yeah, it has some freaky imagery going on.
Yeah, that had some freaky imagery, and I never beat it. I need it. That's still on my gaming
There's
backlog.
like a zombie polar bear, if I remember right.
There's like a giant monster that I think has like twin, like spinning, like crushers on his hand or something. That was definitely one where like you start off right away and you're like turn the corner and there's all these monsters and you're like, I don't have a weapon to like fight any of these people.
You
Like
spend a
this
lot of time just
sucks.
running past crap.
Oh man. Yeah, that's Silent Hill. That's the one thing I'm worried about the Silent Hill 2 remake that's happening. And people are already worried about it, is that they're adjusting the scare factor
Mm.
for more modern audience. That's the thing. They threw in the word modern audience. And whenever you do that, you know that that's not
It's
what
an
it's going to
excuse
fucking
or
mean.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Loki says The Last of Us 1 is a masterpiece, but that's the story. I'd have to disagree. I think the story's all right. I don't think it's a masterpiece.
Mm.
I mean, if you want to talk about like what I would consider a masterpiece is Metal Gear Solid, specifically 3. Metal Gear Solid 3 is amazing. Even Metal Gear Solid 4. That's just a good series in general. Hey, Shane, you're not alone. Loki says, I got bored of the gameplay, I think, for The Last of Us 1.
Yeah.
That's awesome. We literally just talked about that, Loki. That's amazing.
Now, what do you think about? I know you wanted to touch topic on the Harry
Mhm.
Potter game. Do you think it's going to
I think it's
do
gonna,
well?
oh, it's going to blow the shit out of everything. Just because
Yeah.
all these people are going insane over it, saying buying the game, you're anti-trans and all that crap. They're literally selling the game for people.
Well, that and I think the game has such a fan base. I don't even think
Mhm.
I don't care if you're hard left. Those people are going to buy that fucking game. They can
Yeah.
sit there and tell me they're not all day long. but a lot of times, again, like it goes back to our topic before. a lot of that's just like your social media person who doesn't probably even play video games, just trying to be like, don't buy this. This is against the cause. But the gamer's
Well,
like, yeah, shut
they're
up. I'm going to play
they're
this
literally
stupid ass
going
nerdy
insane
game.
now. Like they're like it's getting to the point where people, well, the weak people are like I really want to stream, like streamers. I really want to stream the game, but how about every like 100%, revenue coming in gets donated to like some, pro trans organization, and they're like, that's not enough. And I'm just like, dude, it's like, oh my gosh,
What does that even go to? What would a pro trans
it's like the
donation
Trevor.
go to?
It's
What do
I
you?
think
What's that go to? Like,
I
what do
think the
you
one, yeah, I think
get
the
makeup
one guy,
for boys? Like, what do you do? Do you just hand out
I
like
think the
makeup kits?
one
Like,
guy,
is your kid trans? Well, we donated some money so he can wear some makeup today.
I think
Like,
like
what do
he
they
he
do?
like linked he
Trans?
linked
Is
I
there a
think
trans
Club,
camp out there?
I
Sorry.
think it was called the the Trevor Project. Let me see.
I say I'm lucky enough that I don't even like Harry Potter, so I don't care on either side of the field.
Oh, here, we'll just bring up niche game. Oh, here it is, the Trevor Project. Let's see. For young LGBTQ. What happened to the plus? Uh-oh. You're not very
We lost the
inclusive,
plus.
are you? I thought there's like 80,000 different genders now. See, according to this, all I'm seeing is call, text, or chat with us anytime you need support. Okay.
So it's like a suicide hotline almost.
That's immediately what I thought of.
I mean, when you say it that way, are you having
Hey, did you
problems?
guys, what is your emergency? I feel really shitty today. Like some guy.
I don't know if I should go with the green or the blue.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I don't know.
Yeah, like
Loki's like, what?
dude, I don't give a shit about like any of this. Like, who in their mind says I'm affected by this video game? Like, I'm getting so tired of that.
Yeah.
You like this game, therefore, or you're supporting this game, meaning you support death to, the LGBTQ and stuff. It's like, well, no, we don't. We just don't give a fuck.
It's
like
they act like the game's gonna come out like there's gonna be a whole nother section of Hogwarts instead of being like the snake people or whatever. Like there's gonna be like a whole nother section where it's just like it's the gay category.
Well, dude, you missed it. Like part of this whole controversy with the Hogwarts Legacy thing is they're trying to deviate people from getting the game by making the tags. Like if you go to Steam and look up like tags for like games and stuff like action, adventure and stuff, they're hijacking it and making it to where the top tags are capitalism. My favorite's a genocide simulator. That's a good one. Here, let me see if I can find it.
Oh my god,
dude! Like this is how hard they're going against this game. But yet it's funny because the irony is these people like Harry Potter, but they hate J.K. Rowling's. But then they go to this extreme by saying, if you support this game, you want us dead. And it's like, well, then don't you want yourself dead because you're like Harry Potter, but yet hey KJ? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you guys are fucking weirdos. It makes no sense. God.
It's such a weird game to like be coming at. I don't know. It's so funny. I mean, we get why they're doing it because it's the agenda thing, but it's just a funny scenario. Little 12-year-old nerd kids at a school learning magic.
Look, I read all of Harry Potter like with my mom. Like one of the things that we, bind it together with is that we both read Harry Potter, at the same time. I would read it, she would then read it, and then we would actually just me and her go and see the movies. Like that was our thing, and we connected through that way. But even doing all that and having a great time like with my mom with that, it's like I don't consider myself a hardcore Harry Potter person. But no one can't deny that it'd be awesome to be in that world, to see what all you can do and stuff like that.
The thing too is like she's allowed to have her own belief systems or whatever she wants to, and she didn't throw that into the books. It's not like she had a hidden agenda. It was entertainment. That's what it is. It's just entertainment. You know, like I said, going back to the Velma thing, that is not entertainment. That's the agenda. That's the difference. You know, that's somebody with a ideology that decided to turn it to a children's show. I don't even know. That's another thing. Like they came and used the argument like, well, it's a kids show because that one they took something that was supposed to be meant for kids and man turned that on its head.
I don't know. Anyone who says like I watched this cartoon and then I said to myself, I wish that was me, and then by me being a black person or like a different skin color, you learned that from someone. I guarantee you didn't fucking like I wish it was me. It's the same fucking garbage. I forget who posted it on Twitter, but they posted a
Well, the weird
picture of
thing is here it is. You said like you have like an organization that will fund the LBG community
Mhm.
with a hotline, but you also have that side coming out with cartoons saying like if you're white, you're just stupid. You're like, and again, here it's a Scooby Doo show. That if you're not like into YouTube and Twitter and stuff
Mhm.
like that, like just like an average like dad let their kid watch TV and they say, hey, there's a new Velma show. They just turn it on and start going to do something, and their kids that watching this stupid shit saying there's like literally images of Fred with a Hitler mustache doing like Hitler
Oh
signs. It's
god,
like
yeah,
you
that's
got to be kidding me.
yeah,
If that
they're
was flipped, if that was flipped, oh my god, man. But no, if it's a white kid, it's okay now. But I don't know. It's just mind-boggling that the type of shit's
mhm.
being taught.
No, it's quite disgusting because
And
no
that's
one
supposed to be like funny. I'm like, I don't even how's
it's
it
not
even
even
funny?
fun. Like no one thinks this way. This is the thing that I like that I was uh getting
It's
at
it's
too
it's
that I
just to get people mad. That's all it is. It's
yeah,
there
it's
to divide and turn people against each other to
oh,
make you
they
think you
changed
think.
it. If going to stream, they it's no longer like genocide simulator. Ah, fudge.
Mm.
Because everyone's like genocide simulator. Fuck yeah, I'm gonna buy that game. Who doesn't like that? Yeah, it used to be like down here. Unless what's the plus sign? Oh, it's gone.
Hmm.
Oh well. The Velma Loki says the Velma show a trash. It is. It's the same mentality that the idiots in like Dungeons and Dragons that are trying to make it inclusive. Like,
Okay. I haven't gotten to that much. I've seen a couple of things pop up.
mhm,
What are they trying to change in the books on that?
they're pretty much trying to make certain like races in that world are being allured or alluded to races in this world. Like there's like a race of I think like tree monkeys or something, and you can guess where they were associating it with and stuff like that, like that sort of stuff. But that one I know I talked about a little bit, but I can't remember a whole lot. But it's definitely like the whole like the big thing that I remember was like I never saw someone like me in that world. It's like okay, I'm sorry, but if you're handicapped and you go and play Dungeons and Dragons and you open up that character book and go, where's the character that's also handicapped in a wheelchair? You're fucking retarded. Because if I was handicapped
It's like
and
the one
I'm
place you can be whatever you want to be.
yeah, that's
Like
the whole point. That's the
yeah.
whole damn
Well,
point.
somebody better cast a
God,
float on Junior over here so he can get up this mountains with his wheelchair.
exactly. It's like are you literally you guys are literally living out the Family Guy like joke where like those episodes where like for example the one Family Guy episodes where Peter tells a quick summary of like 3 Stephen King books, and every joke in there when Joe shows up, doesn't matter what character he's playing, he's still in the wheelchair, even when that character was not in a wheelchair. It's like you guys are literally playing out that joke.
Yeah, that and let's face it, most times this is how my adventures of D&D were. Now, I didn't get to D&D until I owned a comic book shop, but you always
Mhm.
had those people that want to start their groups.
Yeah.
You will take anybody into your group because D&D is something that you will not find very many people that want to do that, especially like once or twice a week for multiple hours. So you will have the most mismatched people,
Mhm.
the most nerdy of the motherfucking people, is going to be your DM because they are the most super nerdy and they want to play it more than anything.
Yep.
But they can only play the DM because they're the only one who's fucking willing to sit there, take the time to even care about half that fucking shit, right? And then you have a best friend who's as nerdy as him, but not as
The
in
cool
tune with
guy.
it. Yeah. So you got those two guys, right? The rest of the party is a mismatch of people who either have never played and just kind of got interested in it, or they're just like a friend who's bored. So most of your campaigns end up being either somebody trying to get laid half the time, drunk half the time, or try to kill everything possible. Even doesn't matter what the level it is. If it's you're fighting a dragon, the DM's like, well, you should be running. And your guy's like, nope, let's drink some beer, cuff its head, and get some head afterwards. That's D&D in a nutshell for fucking 3 hours every week. Like that is D&D. They can put as much stuff in those books as they want. That's most of your campaigning right there. A bunch of guys sitting around, mostly telling dick jokes, and sometimes playing a game.
Sometimes playing a game. Yeah, there's some like good. Oh man, I need to budget it out, but like I really just. I
D&D
also
is not
need
worth the time. Most time, people get in D&D for like 2 months and they're done with it anyways.
Well, I'm not like specifically not D&D, like because I actually was part of a D&D group, but yeah, we kind of split for. It's on hiatus, I guess we'll say. And it'd be nice for it to come back, but man, yeah, like if I'm gonna get this game just to spite people and then stream it, the Hogwarts game, like I'm probably gonna have to budget out to get a PS5 because it's either that or get a new rig, which
Yeah,
I need a new PC.
nothing has come out yet to make me want to get a PS5. I'm still just leaning on my PS4.
My only thing, well, that's my argument, is that like I have a bunch of physical PS4 games, and I would get the PS5 disc reader, which is backwards compatible with PS4, and I think it actually pushes it to the higher quality when you put it in the disc. I think is what I remember reading, so I'd get one just for that, or get like a better PC rig. But again, I need. Oh man, I hate it. I hate everything because with the Hogwarts one, like it's not going to come out. Like someone was saying, it's not going to come like for PS4, Stream, Xbox. Like it's not going to come out till like a couple months later. Than the release for the new gens. So PS5, PC, sort of thing. So if you have like old gens, you got to wait for a while. Loki says,
Well,
my
that's
PS4 Pro still. I don't care for PS5.
What we talked about earlier when people don't care about something until they see a video, and then all of a sudden they care. Most people that's talking about the Harry Potter game aren't Harry Potter fans, or they're not they're not gamers. But again, they want to rally to a cause.
Well, that's
nothing to do with them.
Yeah, well, that's the big thing, is that the people who are screaming against Hogwarts were never gamers to begin with. They saw
what my thing is, like, what do they want them to play then? What's the alternative? Oh, like, okay, if you're trying to say don't play this game, what game are you pushing then? You know, why are you telling this whole company?
Game.
Exactly.
No, you're absolutely right. The game that they're wanting is the same game, except it has what they want in it.
They don't want a game. They just want that. They want that win. They want that rush of a win, or that they want to be able to come online and put a comment and then be like, today, when they go to work to their Starbucks, they'd be like, today, this nerd, you know.
I think it's the same. To me, it's like they're trying to do what they did, like what Hollywood's doing, is they're going back to old franchises that are successful, already well established and stuff, and saying there's some injustice into it, so we're rebooting it and we're making it the correct way, like the Ghostbusters sort of thing.
They want their version.
They want their version, and that's what they're doing with games.
And the thing with that too is, like, when you do, it's so hard to come up with something. I mean, think of how many movies do you think come out a year? A lot, God. Right? A lot of movies, right? So only a handful end up having like a good formula to it, right? And that's the same thing with a franchise, even from comic books to movies to video games. Shit's laid out all the time. Half of it, more than half of it's shit. Once in a while, you get a gem. You get a perfectly good writer that thought something out and it just clicked. Everything worked perfectly,
Yeah.
right? So when you go fuck with it, you put too much salt in the fucking, lasagna, you just fucked it up. You took grandma's lasagna and you fucked it up. And that's the problem with it. Like it
Mhm.
landed right the first time. There's a reason it has a following and people love the characters. So when you think, well, I'm going to come around and just put my taste on it, or that's why The Last Jedi didn't fucking work, or whatever the fucking ninth fucking movie was called.
Wait,
You
what?
know?
What movie?
The Star Wars episode 8.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah,
I haven't even seen. I never
uh,
saw the riot, or what is the last one? The last
The
last.
Last Skywalker.
Yeah, I haven't even seen it. I'm not going to.
Yeah,
I already got told about it.
but like I say, like with the third one, like, or the eighth one, when Ryan Johnson's just like, you know what? No, Luke's gonna be this way, and we're gonna kill off this person, and this person will be this
Mhm.
way. I mean, the guy literally took General Akbar and threw him out into fucking space, and he was dead.
Wait, they
That's
did?
not the yeah, that's not the same writer.
God,
That yeah, that
why?
because that's what happens when you get random people who you just stick on a project, like, oh, what's their idea of it? Who fucking cares what their idea of it is? If they have a fucking idea, make a stupid ass YouTube version of it. And your little fans like the 25-minute video you put together. Like you don't just go shit on a franchise
I
thinking
agree.
like
Anyone who
you're
fucks up,
that your understanding of a franchise is just as equivalent as the person that created it. Fuck no.
anyone who fucks up grandma's lasagna deserves an instant beheading. 'Cause I love lasagna. Those buttholes.
What was that?
But
What was
yeah,
that
there's
franchise
like,
that they try to make? Aragon. I remember when
oh,
Aragon came around because like it just came off of the Harry Potter being big. Because you remember when
Mhm.
Harry Potter came out, that doesn't happen very often where people like get that excited about books, you know. So I think Aragon was kind of riding off of the success of Harry Potter was something. Bookstores started pushing Aragon, and then that shitty fucking movie came out, and that was garbage. Again, because like somebody got a hold of it and like, well, let's put this in it instead. Let's make the orc people look more like mean men. You're like, what the fuck is this?
Oh yeah, don't you have to pronounce it like differently, or
Maybe I don't
I
know.
don't know. There's some retarded way of like you got to say it this way because it's insensitive. Pretty much like going on, like literally going on. That was in Dungeons and Dragons, but it was like the whole like the N word with an A at the end as opposed to an ER, which both of them just sound funny to me to begin with. So I'm just laughing. Let's
Again,
see.
it's a whole genre of people that's not even playing D&D. Like I say, it's a very niche group anyways. So the people that's getting offended by D&D is not D&D players. It's not.
Yeah,
Either that or
absolutely.
it's somebody who brought their friend over and they're just
Yeah.
like, not really into it. Like,
And it's
who brought Shayna over today? Get this fucking kid out of here.
yeah, it's
Why are we attacking dragons? They have feelings too.
well, one of them like one of the bounding into comics article that I was reading like had the list of the people working on the different stories, and literally one of them was that person of I would play it, but there wasn't a character that was me in the story. It's like you're not supposed to be you in a fictional story, you fucking
Yeah.
retard. Oh my gosh. Like, like to me, that just screams you're the most unoriginal person ever. If you
Yeah.
have to go,
Well, then,
it's one thing to do like a character creation in a game to
Yeah.
like kind of base it off of you. But if you're a fucking wimpy person in real life, are you telling me you're going to make your character be wimpy just as
Yeah.
much? I'm cranking that muscle tone like to max because
Yeah.
I'm fucking Frank Castling it through the whole game. Just being that bullet sponge.
Yep.
It's amazing. Oh yeah, that's right. Did you see the whole Frost thing?
What is it?
G4 like with Frost where she like
Mm-mm.
oh, that one was funny. Here, I'll
G4
post
still a
it.
thing?
No, it's gone. Like the
Oh.
biggest thing was it got canceled. And well, the whole biggest thing was G4 was doing new shit. They brought in someone named Frost who went on a tirade by insulting like the entire male fan base by saying, "You're just upset because I'm not pleasing to the eye and you can't jerk off to me," and stuff like that. So what happened? Everyone stopped watching it. The ratings went down. Boom, canceled. Recently, since she's still fucking butthurt about the whole thing, declared that she's officially quitting like the video game industry, which is hilarious. Here, I got it pulled up here. And everyone's all happy that she's gone. Because my thought and I'll point out, this is what I said.
Was she a streamer or was she just like a
she was a League of Legends. I don't even know. I looked it up one point because I was like, who the fuck is this irrelevant person in my life? and it was like this. So this is what she said. So January 18th, so literally yesterday. Look at that. 0 messages on my DM. That means Joe has not responded. That asshole. I'm just fucking around. So she says, well, okay, queers, pride is over. Get back in the closet. What the fuck? She's like the weirdest person, like bouncing back and forth. So she says, I've been angry for a long time with my peers for not using their power and voice to stand up for others in the industry. And that's like, oh, wait, I have to highlight it over here. Well, I can't highlight it because then I click into it. Okay, there's the red flag. That is the red flag, and that is the truth right there. This. My peers for not using their power and voice to stand up for others in the industry. That tells me you never cared about the industry. You wanted the power, and you wanted to use said power and other people with similar ideology to push it and to change it to conform to what you think is correct. So had to come to some hard terms that people who I known for years, who I thought were good friends, just weren't. They probably saw through your bullshit. That's what it was. Devastated me for a long time. Good. Anyway, I'm leaving the industry. Hooray! Confetti. Found new work elsewhere. I guarantee you it's not OnlyFans because your face looks like you put out a grease fire with it. This industry is really messed up. You actually messed it up. And people like you and then thought you could save it by making into something that no one ever asked you to. And what happened to me and plenty of others wasn't fair. You called an entire fan base like a bunch of incels and pretty much said that male gamers specifically only play male games to get their jerk off, which is 100% correct. No, I'm just kidding. It's not true. And it could have been avoided if we had all stood up together. But you never cared about the industry. You let me down, good, but I get why. No, you don't. Cheers and good luck. But my biggest thing with this whole thing is the not using that one thing, not using their power and voice to stand up for the industry, for others in the industry. It was never about standing up for others. It was that P word, power. That's all you wanted. And that's what these people that infiltrate the gaming industry are doing.
Yeah.
Is they see a place to where if we can get in there, start changing it and establishing power, we can get what we want. Because for the longest time, it wasn't like that from what I've heard from other people. And this, a prime example of where gatekeeping is actually necessary. And by gatekeeping, I mean, when someone says that, or like, why should we hire you? Well, I'm trying to make, a standing, a point that everyone, we can all be inclusive in the everything in like the industry and stuff like that. Thank you for your time. We'll call you if we're interested. Throw that application in the fucking garbage, because what it should be is, yeah, I know how to make character models. I want to tell a good story, and I want to be a part of a team that cares about telling a good story and hopefully revolutionizing the industry or adding something new and original into it. That should be the selling point, not this.
Yeah, well, it's just a boring take anyways. It's like you're supposed to be creating, again, it's supposed to be entertainment. When you're putting so much of yourself into it that's not to entertain people. You're not looking at one. It's a market space for one too. Like what's the market want? What's the demand? You know, is the demand of your emotions versus the demand of the money. It's a market. You know, so yeah, you want to just create shit material and adios.
But it's
That's why
again,
comics. That's why Marvel and DC are sucking.
yeah.
They're not there for the entertainment. They're there. They hired a bunch of people with ideology
Mhm.
and putting themselves into the comics.
And then it
And they're
doesn't
like,
sell.
this represents me. I'm so happy. I don't care. They don't care if it fails because they got their way. They're like, I got this. This
Yeah.
is what I created. It represents me.
See,
They don't give a
that's
fuck
the
if Marvel fires them tomorrow or and stuff like that. Like
that's the sad thing
they
is that
stood for something.
that's the sad thing is that the
Whatever.
company like doesn't care that they lose money, which makes no sense to me
Yep.
because it's all about making sure to maintain that image. Because I feel like in the past it was all about that was the whole thing. Big companies bad because they don't pay their workers fairly and blah blah blah. And now it's like the complete opposite. Now they're just throwing money away and they don't care because they can hire like what you said, uh, bozos in the comic industry or letting activists be a part of the HR department in the or the planning session in gaming industry.
Yeah.
Man, I really want to find. Oh, here's that. I'm unbounding into comics. There's that Alec Baldwin thing that just popped up. Oh, here's something interesting. Here, let's look at this one. Boop, boop. So, a Dead Space movie. So it says John Carpenter claims Dead Space movie has director, but he's not involved. They haven't asked me to do it.
Hmm.
So iconic director John Carpenter has claimed that plans for a Dead Space movie are in the works, but he hasn't been asked to direct it. Speaking to Variety, Carpenter discussed a number of topics, his past work, and the challenges bringing them to film. Feedback from executives that he ignored. Nice. Just, well, why don't you lead it this way? No, fuck off. Dude, baller. How he dealt with critical reviews, his greatest skills as a filmmaker, and his favorite era of horror films to stand alone. I think John Carpenter would bring a good live action Dead Space movie. Yeah, they're remaking Dead Space 2. And even then,
Yeah, I
that's
saw
still,
that.
yeah, and even then, that's still some problems because, like, they're like, they're like, not they're aging the women in the game. So, like, if you look at the
Mhm.
original, they're younger. And then you look at the more realistic remakes of it, they're like aging them to make them look like older. And it's like,
It's weird.
why? But I think we know why because they hate young, hot, sexy women.
They gotta
They
put
also
them old
briefly
ladies in
discussed
there.
future. What was that?
They gotta put them old ladies in there.
I know because old ladies
The
are
Cougars
selling
are
drugs.
in.
Yeah, well, a Kruger is different, but like
Yeah.
if there's nothing there, then then it's just garbage. Loki says John Carpenter would make a good Dead Space movie with his mind. I think so. Carpenter was also asked about his interest in directing a Dead Space movie. He expressed an interest in 2013. Dang, that long ago? Wow. Must have
It's
been
been a
when
minute.
like is that when the
The
first
second
game came?
movie or the second game came out, maybe.
Yeah, the first or second. I think there's a 3. I haven't played it yet. Wait, why is that still up? There we go. Let's see. Is there any movement on that? They asked him. No. I can't believe how that spread. Carpenter explained, I'm a big video game fan. So I played all the games. I was down looking at the new digital cameras, the Red, and happened to mention to them that I would love to do a Dead Space film. That just went around and everyone said, oh, when are you going to do it? I'm not going to do it. While Carpenter may have deflated the hopes of some fans, it seemed a Dead Space film is in the works, and he confirmed it. I think they already have another director involved, and they haven't asked me to do it. So until someone asked me, I wouldn't do it. Oh, okay. Wasn't terribly broken up about the news, however, as he quickly added, but there's a new version of the Dead Space video game coming out in January, and I'm there. Okay, so he doesn't sound too upset about it. I don't know. I mean, he already said he plays the games and stuff like that. Like, why wouldn't you ask him to do it? I mean, you already know he can do like some solid stuff.
Yeah.
That's foolish. I think Bounding into Comics had the view of the legacy, or of that Hogwarts legacy shit. Let me see if I can find it. Oh gosh, Velma. Jeez.
That's going to haunt us
Oh
for a
yeah.
while.
I want to know your. Oh yeah. I want to know your take on this. What did you think when you saw, if you saw this? Did you see the whole Joker pregnant thing?
I read something where obviously I seen the image where like he's like, yeah, that one.
Kabam!
And then like they were like, well, he wasn't actually pregnant. It's a spell, and he ends up throwing up like a mud monster.
Oh, he throws it up. I was really hoping he'd
But
shit it out.
but my thing is, okay, still doesn't make it good writing. Like this is what we have left to offer. This is it. That's my problem with like today's comics. Like I think with Marvel and DC, they've told every story they can tell. All we got left is literally Joker with, a big belly throwing up mud monsters. That's just so stupid. Because I guess like the writer like backpedaled a little bit too on the whole thing. Like, oh, it's just a big joke. It's like,
Oh yeah, this might actually say, like, it might actually be in this.
it looks like you're trying to show off like men being pregnant. It's just awkward. Like, why does this belong with the Joker and the DC?
Oh, here it is. If you don't get your news from the "here's what to be angry about" people, you have missed this, explained the writer to his readers. But certain corners of the world are quite mad that the new issue of the Joker, the Man Who Stopped Laughing, makes the Joker trans? What?
And then they
became pregnant and give birth. How could we? Think of the children. Only slight problem. None of that actually happens in the comic, he
Yeah.
added. They didn't stop Fox News and whatever. So he's just bashing the story.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think it shows him like throwing up the monster. Yeah. It's just but it's
here's
still
something
it's
I want
just
to know.
it's just horrible. Like
Yeah.
what's fun about this? Like when I was growing up, when I went into like the Walmarts and stuff, because back then they actually had the comics on the racks there. You'd pick up your Spider-Man and you just kind of flip through it and you just see, Spider-Man, zipping through the city and, punching Mysterio in the face and, just that good action entertainment. It's not too overthought for one. And then you look at this garbage. I'm like, can you imagine like, I don't know, being, what do you think the age is when kids really get into comics? 9, 10, when you can really start, I don't know if you pick one up at a store and you're flipping through and that's all you see is like the Joker. Like,
well, here's something I'm curious about. You have this sweet ass picture.
How do you
right
get
here.
excited?
You have this sweet ass picture. Looks amazing. And then you look at the actual comic and it looks like hot shit. Like, who said this artwork is good? Like, I legitimately want to know because this looks fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Like, you know how in manga was like a lot of it was influenced by Western comics, and so
it looks like Joker got fired from DC. Like this whole book, it looks like he's like having like a midlife crisis. Like, man, I don't know what to do. DC's like fucked me up,
guys. He's actually self-aware and realized that the story that was about to be bestowed in his speech bubbles were gonna suck like terribly, and he's like, guys, I don't want to deal with this. Like, look at this. Like, look how awesome that artwork looks. And then that. Oh, what the? I don't get it.
It's just DC and Marvel banking off the same characters time and time again. Yeah, we're gonna get this rough patches of just crap. But again, all the good stories I think have been told. You can't tell those stories any better or any worse than they've already been told. There's no point to keep making the material. Like DC does not want to find new franchises. Marvel doesn't want to find new franchises. That's why I like manga and anime. Yes, we will get a lot of the Demon Tales, but at least there's new stuff coming out. There's new characters. There's new people to like. They take chances. But
like that,
Marvel and DC, cool. They're like,
mm-hmm.
They just keep banking off the same. I'm so burnt out on Joker. It's like The Walking Dead. I'm at this point. I'm like, who cares?
Joker's kind of lost his charm, I guess you
Yeah.
could
And
say.
everybody's
or
like,
his-
oh, it needs to be darker. It needs to be darker. We've gotten so dark with it before. We've literally had back in the 80s, or was it early 90s, when he actually, I mean, you can't get any darker than taking a crowbar and paralyzing a Robin. Whatever. He's literally shot Barbara Gordon in the back. Like we've had dark stories. Like it's all been done. You know, but like, again, it's a company that can't move forward with any new ideas because it's
Mhm.
too scary. It's better just to bring new ideologies to it. To them, that's like the new thing instead of actually they can't commit to another character. They're like, nope.
Makes me want to pull a James right here. Just kidding. That is the look of a sad, depressed man. No, but like, I still can't get over the artwork because what I was saying is like, you know how manga it uses a lot of lines and action lines and all that stuff,
Mhm.
and it has a rather simplistic form, but yet still they know when to go simplistic with it, but still have enough details to showcase it. That artwork was like it's like basic shapes, and it looks
Yep.
awful. I don't get it. I do not get it at all. Oh, what was that? Oh, that was Mike Barron. Do you hear about the Mike Barron thing?
No.
Says longtime Punisher writer Mike Barron to raise legal war chest to sue Daily Kos for publishing malicious lies about graphic novels Thin Blue Line and Private American. So I guess he created his own thing that's kind of like the Punisher, since they're making Punisher a pussy with the stupid
Yeah.
symbol. That makes me mad. So former Punisher writer and the creator of Nexus, Mike Barron, launched a GoFundMe to raise a legal war chest to sue Daily. I don't even know what Daily Kos is. Barron's campaign manager for his recent crowdfunded graphic novel, Thin Blue Line and Private American, launched a GoFundMe campaign detailing he's raising money to pay for writer Mike Barron's legal fees to fund a lawsuit against the Daily Kos website, the writer, and their other parties for publishing malicious lies about his two most recent graphic novels, Thin Blue Line and Private American. So false allegations of racism and bigotry. Wow, that's the other thing I like about the other side. They always seem to have the same word of the day over and over.
Yeah.
Racism and bigotry. We're part of
Yeah.
an organized effort by an indie comic publisher to cancel our Kickstarter and crowdfunder fundraising campaigns. Well, see, that's the other thing too, is like you're playing a gamble when you're on Kickstarter and crowdfunder.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, anywhere too. Like even with Indiegogo, like they shadow banned Death, Death, Death. Which, by the way, if you do want to go find Death, 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 one has to go directly to the link, which is in the description. And by doing so, you can find it.
I'm curious
is
on the next main Pokemon
Death,
character.
Death, Death. What's up?
Oh, so I was reading Loki's little thing there.
Oh, nice. Curious on the next main Pokemon character since they are done with Ash. Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah, I don't know. I need to continue my gameplay of Pokemon.
Well,
But
they went on without Ash there for a while back in the day.
did they? I'm
Yeah, I
way
remember when
behind. I think the last
Pokemon
one I played was Black 2. Or no, I played Pokemon Black and then I played White 2.
when Pokemon Snap came out, I believe the cartoon took a turn where Ash wasn't in it anymore, and that guy was like the main character, and he had like a new girl that was with him too. I think Brock. I think Brock was the first one to leave, but then they didn't have Ash and Misty for a while. I don't know.
But guys, check out this badass comic. It's Death, Death, Death. He's cracked the 80K.
Yep,
Has 1,050 backers.
that's 1,050 packages. I think I'm gonna have to end up packing up.
Oh, God.
John's gonna be like, Shane, get over here.
Look at that. Look at all
Time
those.
to box this.
Look at all those tears. But yeah, unfortunately, Death, Death, Death has been shadow banned, but it's in the description. As long as you have the direct link, you can find it.
Yep.
I wonder if that got fixed. Here, live stream right now. Or live. Death, 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 if I can type.
Nope. Man, that's crazy.
But yeah, unfortunately, guys, Death can only be found. I know on Brave you can still find it. The website Brave, that's what I use. Google, Joe says it's not really showing up on the top pages. So again, you're gonna have to go to the link. But yeah, Death going strong. It's stupid they screw them on the shadow ban, that shadow ban dicks. Yeah, they're assholes. I mean, the only one that I've known that some people mention is Give Send Go. Or at least fair about it or something like that. I don't know. Other than that, Indiegogo. Go check out Death. So in the email into Bounding into Comics, Baron stated, we're all in. We're going after Daily Kos. So it comes after they published an article by Star Mignon titled Punisher writer Mick Barron releases another racist AF comic book. Why can't we just start? We should just start our own publishing thing and then just like, but our thing is like same day articles, like scope out like retarded stuff like this and then immediately write an article and just like say this, just say the same thing backwards and then just quote that article as our source. That'd be pretty funny. That was actually something I like if I ever got into like stand-up comedy. Like I would, and like if I was like really good at thinking on the spot, like improv and stuff, I want to find like I wanted to be a comedian that would like his material would be to comment on the people beforehand. So like listen to their works and then comment on it. Dude, that'd be unique and original. I don't know how good that would go, but that's my idea. Copyright.
Hell, even the comedians anymore can't be comedians without getting like
Yeah, exactly.
backlash anymore.
Yeah. Everything's gone bullshit. But honestly, just racist AF comic book, sign me up. Dude, I'm a degenerate. I don't give a fuck. Within the article, Mignon writes about the unpublished private American book, Iraqis, Afghans, Chinese, Mexican, Lebanese. These are all just a few of the racial and national groups that Punisher writer Mike Barron has demonized in his latest diatribe of racist propaganda and stochastic terror. I don't know. There's a new word for me. That one. Terrorism disguised as a funny book. I wonder where he drew that conclusion. So he hasn't even read it yet. Just assumed that.
I'd say it's not even out, right?
Yeah, I don't even know.
Funded.
Wow, he went straight ham in thinking that all these people are. Way to show your actual bigotry and racism. Why do you think all these people are terrorists? Dude, look at that guy picking up. Got knives everywhere, guns. That sweet eagle. Look at him just tossing them like a fucking rag doll. The article would continue to demonize Barron as well as his campaign manager, Chris Braley, and ultimately concluded by encouraging readers to have the book removed from crowdfunding platform Kickstarter. We urge anyone who is offended by this domestic terrorist handbook for bubblegum brains to contact support at kickstarter.com and God damn it, Bounding into Comics, you forgot to put a space right there. And tell them hate has no place anywhere, let alone their platform where decent people go to bring their hopes and dreams to life to make the world a better place. Now, if he actually legitimately said that, like, that could actually be like interference and defamation. Because you actually would have to look at the Kickstarter thing to know what their whole idea is. But there's diversity. There's a little. Oh, wait a minute. It's not on my screen. Fuck. I just now realized that.
I just really just enjoyed reading the article.
Fuck. Damn it. Well, to reiterate, I was commenting on this picture. Said, look at this badass throwing that guy, knives everywhere. American Eagle. Looked pretty dope. And then I was going to say there's diversity because there's a dog right there. There's diversity, and it's black too. See?
Yep.
Look at that. He sniped him right under the armpit where he knew that the body armor won't cover. Well, that sucks. Yeah, this whole you're not even allowed to think of like ideas because they just will cancel you and get butthurt over something that they haven't even read yet. But then when it's okay, like The Last of Us HBO show, just positive review bomb it. 2,000 plus reviews. 10
Well,
out
here's
of
the
10.
thing. What they want to push, they want to spend all the time and effort into saying, "Don't get this. That's bad."
Mm-hmm.
They don't put that same time and effort in telling you what you should be backing. What does that person suggest? What is their alternative comic that they're wanting you to pick up? And again, it's all about market. If the market's not there, nobody gives a fuck. We don't give a fuck about your idea. I don't want to read about. Okay, I'm not gay, right? So I don't relate too much into that. So let's say, okay, I don't really want to go so far into a gay thing to where it's like I was just like it's not fun for me to read. But as a straight male, also like, okay, but you don't want to have the action. You want everything to be so just what, a guy just going to work? Is that what you want me to read? Am I supposed to be reading? Guy gets up, his alarm goes off, he brushes his teeth, he gets to his car, he goes to work, and nothing happens.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait to read that fucking book.
Yeah, it's
That's
not
gonna be
like we're
amazing.
asking like, some sweet like hairy asshole like showing up and sparkling out of glory, sort of thing.
Yeah,
But then again, it's like, but we also
but
want to like
it goes
we
so
want to
far.
see
Like
big muscular dudes just wailing on each other and like shooting.
exactly.
I was
Like
trying
I
to
said,
like make a Norm Macdonald kind of combat with that. More of a
but like I say,
comment, really.
the agenda side of things, it tries to push it, and the cells aren't there. I mean, you can't force people to just like things. I don't know, just like when they made Superman's son gay. Okay, you make him gay, but then like it's just that was the whole focus of the book. Everywhere you saw was articles of them kissing, and I'm like, okay, if it works, if the audience is there for it, the audience is there for it. Who am I to say? Didn't do well. Nobody's giving a shit. The sales are still dropping.
Not enough
So
tongue. That was the problem.
yeah.
Not enough tongue.
But
I
you want to
mean,
go
if
after this guy,
if sex sells, man. Like if you're gonna promote that gay shit, you
you better go all in.
you better go all in. Come on, that's what I learned that a long time ago. The 3 themes in any advertisement that you will ever find is sex, money, and power. It will always appear in some way, shape, and form. But we'll end the night. This looked pretty interesting. I actually remember reading this. You ever played the House of the Dead, like that rail shooter?
I feel like I played him at like the mall, like
Yeah,
just
it was like
pick
one
up a
of those
gun.
arcade games. Yeah.
Yeah.
Guess it's getting a remake, or the remake, which I didn't know they made a remake. Might have to look into that. It's getting a PS5 port. Publisher Forever Entertainment and developer Megapixel Studio have announced the House of the Dead remake is getting a PS5 port. The new port is set to launch January 20th. Oh, that's literally tomorrow. Well, how about that? And I don't have a PS5, and the owners of the game on the PS4 will get a free upgrade. Here's a rundown of the game via the PlayStation Store page. Oh, well, I mean, you could just go to the PS Store page and read it. You have local 2-player, multiplayer, multiple endings, photo mode, armory with unlockable weapons, hordes of the undead, and a new game mode. the well-known arcade classic with modern graphics and controls, including gyro aiming. Oh, so gyro, isn't that for the Switch? Isn't that their whole like shtick? I think they call it the gyro.
Maybe.
Ooh, there's a trailer. We'll watch that. Watch that. Turn that down. A smidgen.
Please, help! Everyone's getting killed!
Uh-oh. Nice. I like me a good rail shooter. Dude, that guy was just walking in with me. Got taken out right away, but... Not bad. You know what rail game I remember I used to play all the time? Like my cousins had a Sega Saturn, Virtua Cop. Remember that game? Did you ever play that one?
I don't think so.
Oh, it was like one of the rail shooters I would play all the time. Virtua Cop was good, and then what was it? Time Crisis? You always saw those in the
Time Crisis, yeah.
yeah.
Our mall here has a place called like Pin One. It's like a big arcade, and it
Oh,
has
nice.
it has a rail shooter game of aliens. That's
Oh,
pretty sweet.
dude, Aliens was good. Did you ever play Area 51? That was a big
Area
one.
51. Yeah,
Yeah, I remember Area 51.
that has like a big thing around it too. The Area 51 did like a big like I can't remember if you sit in that one.
That
I don't
one,
know. It's
that
like a big
one, I just
booth.
remember the two guns. It might have been like a really maxed out one, maybe.
Probably, yeah.
Or I just went to shitty arcade games where I grew up. So let's see.
They also got a Halo one there right now too, where you can sit in the actual like Ghost, or is it the Banshee?
Oh, really? Dang.
I think is the Banshee the one that's on the ground that floats.
That float.
can't
Oh
remember-
no,
I can't remember-
Ghost. It's a
The
ghost.
Okay, the Banshee
the
like is
Ghost.
way up in the air, right? Okay, but yeah,
Yeah, the
pretty sweet.
Banshee's the air one. The Ghost. It's the other one.
Gotcha.
Dude, that sounds awesome. I wish I was at. I guess Dave and Buster's had like a Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon.
Mhm.
Like it had that was an actual arcade rail game where you would suck up the ghost like as Luigi and stuff like that. That seemed pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, they got that at that Pin one as well.
Oh, really? Dang.
Yeah,
Man, I guess I don't go to the arcade enough. We used to like the only arcades I remember going to was a place on probably just a local place where I grew up. It was called Nickel World, where they had tons of arcades everywhere and they just cost nickel back in the
that's
day.
sweet.
But here they have actually one called in Texas Free Arcade or Free Play. And then you would just it's arcade and bar, and then you would just pay like a one-time entrance fee or something, and all the arcades are free, so you can play whatever you
That'd be
want.
nice. Yeah, the one we go to. I mean, my girlfriend's kids are like 4 and 5. So we get this little
Start 'em young.
we get this little card, and it just swipes it or whatever, but you put money on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know
so
what you're talking about. Yeah.
Not like spending like $60 on like games where they sit there and just catch fish.
Oh yeah, I hear you. Beyond Good and
Like
Evil
look at all this
2.
like cool stuff, and like I'm like, well, air
Oh yeah,
hockey
I
it
heard
is.
this. Beyond Good and Evil 2 development still underway. Yeah, they like delayed that one again. I guess I heard. One Piece Odyssey, Fire Emblem, and all that stuff.
Can you get into One Piece? I've tried, and I'm trying not to be one of those people that just hate One Piece to hate One Piece. I really struggle with getting into One Piece. I'm not a big fan of the art.
I remember watching when it came out, like way back, like year 2000. When did it come out? Like 2002, 2003, or something like that. I enjoyed it, but I stopped after a while, and I might be able to get into it again. I mean, I recently just broke through my anime like depression phase because like for a long time, mostly because like someone trying to get into the voice acting and seeing people get canceled really fucking pissed me off, and it's like I don't, what do I do now, sort of thing, because I don't want to step into a den of vipers. But yeah, I mean, I'm actually really not the biggest fan of the art design either for One Piece.
Yeah. I
So,
don't know. It's just it's not piratey enough for me for being pirates as well. Like,
oh, I get what you mean.
like I don't know. The kid just walk around with little sandals with his little straw hat. I don't know. Just I find
More
it really
beach going.
goofy. Yeah, yeah. And like now I didn't watch it. I just have it like I said, I have my app, so like I'll try out different mangas. So I was
Hmm.
reading it, and even like the very beginning, one I don't know if you have a certain superpower that you absolutely hate or can't stand. For me, it's stretchy powers. I don't know what it is. I just cannot stand stretchy characters.
Oh man,
I think it's
then you're
just
not
the
gonna like it at all. Luffy's the
I
main guy.
know. And he gets it so it's so dumb. Like he just eats a fruit. And it's like they just wanted to make a stretchy guy. Like, how do we make him stretchy? I don't know. This pirate has a pear in his chest. Just have him eat it. That's it.
Well, I
It's
know
like
like other characters got
it's
what
gum
is it
gum or gummy
the
gum or
gum
whatever
gum
the fuck it's
fruit or
called.
something.
Just
Gum or whatever he said.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. But
I don't know. Yeah, like I never got into it. I hear it's really good. I mean, I do hear the story's good, but
yeah,
I don't
I
know.
try not to hate on it just for the sake of hating on it, but I feel like Dragon Ball
Mhm.
was better. Like I feel like it's trying to relive what Dragon Ball kind of gave us, where it has like it's lighter, it's got a little
Which
bit of the
one?
humor.
Wait.
Dragon Ball, not Dragon Ball Z, but just Dragon Ball.
Oh yeah, no. I thought you said Dragon Ball, and then went on to say it's like trying to recapture Dragon Ball, and I was like, wait a minute, you're like,
Well, I feel like the style, like having like the inner, like more of the humor that Dragon Ball brings. I feel
oh,
like
I
it's
I
like
get what you
light. You know
mean.
what I'm saying? Like it's like a
Yeah,
lighter
yeah, I get
tale.
what you're saying.
I just feel like Dragon Ball is just a better. If I'm going to read something, I would just read that
Yeah,
versus.
Dragon Ball. I like Dragon Ball. Loki says my brother loves One Piece. I just couldn't.
I
That's.
can't either, man. I try. I
I mean,
try.
my thing, like, you're like in order for me to get back into even remotely like sitting down to watch anime, like I went way back. Like I actually started watching Fist of the North Star because it's like I read the manga. I know it's not as uncensored as it would be in the manga compared to the anime, but like I went back to like, man, I need to get back to when I watch an anime, I'm actually enjoying it and not watching a recent one where there's like bullshit inserted into it or something like that.
I
Get back
think
to the ones that are good.
Netflix has a new series coming out.
I do need to see Arcane and Cyberpunk. I do need to see those. I cancel
Cyberpunk.
all my shit though, like because I
Yeah,
never used them, and then I'm like, I'm
yeah.
not giving them free money. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I never got into One Piece. Dragon Ball, I do like Dragon Ball Z, GT. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Super either. I know the manga's going on, but Super like tried to capture Dragon Ball's humor and bring it back, but it just makes Goku really fucking stupid because like he's dumb and Super. Like it bothers the crap out of me. Like he is dumb. But like so Dragon Ball, it's the humor from Dragon Ball and it's the Goku we all know and love. It's like, well, first of all, the reason why Goku like is like that in the beginning is he's a hillbilly that did not
Yeah.
that lived out in the country and never saw civilization. And part of the joke and the humor comes from him being surprised about seeing all this stuff.
Yeah. And he's also like 7 or something.
Yeah, he's a
Even
kid.
that. I don't even know. He's might
Yeah,
be younger than
he's
that.
like young. Dragon Ball Super. Goku's like he is well beyond being like
Yeah.
affiliated with the cities and stuff like
Yeah.
now. Like
I mean, he's
so
literally been reborn several
yeah,
times.
like
He's fought for the world
like
over
he
and over.
like that humor doesn't work anymore because
Yeah.
Goku's not that naive kid anymore. He's married and he knows all the shit. Like it doesn't work. True Goku is super dumb and super, but in DBZ he was smart in his own way. The best example I will give on how I'll respect Super Goku more than or Z Goku more than Super Goku is during the Cell Saga when he straight up tells Gohan to kill Cell because he could get desperate and do something. So even though Goku was like didn't really account for Gohan's feelings of fighting cell, but Goku knew like Gohan had hidden power into him. He was smart enough to at least realize to tell Gohan, like, don't be cocky, kill him because he could do something desperate. Dragon Ball Super is like, oh, a tournament that could wipe out universes? That's okay, as long as I have a good fight. It's like, you fucker. Like, you idiot. Why? Oh, I hate it. Oh, fucking Goku, man. Well, I think we'll go ahead and we'll wrap up the show. Joe's a dick.
Remember
That's
that,
all.
Joe.
Nah, well, that's
You
all
failed
good.
us.
No,
That's
it's all-
twice.
it's all-
Actually, that's 2 times, Joe. You haven't showed up when I'm here. What's the deal?
I'm not. I didn't say it. I didn't say it. Joe.
He's
Shane
lucky.
did.
He's lucky it's storming outside. I'll just drive up to his house right now. But
Oh, okay. Yeah. I understand. This one action that Joe has done has tainted me forever. No, but at least thanks for joining, Shane. It was good to have you on again. So
Yeah.
I just need to remember, like, I know you have like a weird schedule, so I know you have specific days that you're more
yeah.
available.
Usually Thursdays and Sundays I'm pretty good. So
All right, yeah. I know Thursdays we could do a show too. I also know I need to get back into just doing more shows, but also I'm also a gamer, so I also game as well. Loki says later, Shane and Greg. Yep. But we were
Hey,
we were multi-streaming on both YouTube and Rumble. So we kind of got to the topics I kind of wanted to touch over. If only we had one other person to get their input in, but I don't know. I guess they're dead or something like that. I don't know. No, I'm just messing around. But anything you want to plug in, Shane, before we sign off?
Just check out Death and Swarm. Easily find King Toad Comics on Twitter, Facebook, where you're finding us mostly. And that's about it. We're pumping out the pages.
There you go.
And getting ready to have a good year. I think we have like three new books coming out this year. So
yeah, very nice.
It's gonna be pretty busy.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm sure you guys are gonna, like, you're already killing it with Death. So I'm sure the other ones are just gonna be like knocked out of the park just as well. So like Shane said, everything is in the description that he listed off, as well as Joe's stuff. And then of course Shane is part of King Toad Incorporated, with Joe Ball being the other one. So awesome people. Check out their stuff, support their stuff if you haven't already. And yeah, that is it. Yeah.
I'm gonna go play me some Mass Effect later.
Yeah, later. Let me see. Do I have like a good video to like end off with? Let's see here. Like a good little clip. Here, we'll just throw in a random.
They've been serial crushed by some huge friggin' guy.
That was Agent Paul Smecker from the Boondocks, one of my
Boondock
favorite.
Saints. Yep.
From Boondock Saints, or yeah, the Boondock Saints. So
I'm still waiting for that third one. Still waiting.
they're working on it. I think they're actually are working on it. I know that's been the rumor for a long time, but I think there's actually like legit production
grounds
stuff
to it now.
has been done, sort of thing. So, but yep. Thanks again, Shane. Thanks for everyone stopping by. And as always, like, subscribe, smash the plus button. Well, I guess technically they've changed it over on Rumble. It's not the plus anymore. It's actually a thumbs up. So
they're getting rid of the pluses on that too. There's no more pluses.
Yeah, there's no more pluses on Rumble anymore. It's a thumbs up. So I always said punch the plus, but now that they changed it, because I was going with that, saying like two.
The punch the thumb doesn't sound quite right.
Yeah, smash the subscribe, hit the like button, beat the crap out of it. Do that sort of thing. If that's your kink, I'm not going to judge you. Loki says, I don't see how that's my problem. I don't know what that was inference to.
Boondocks. I think he's quoting Boondock Saints, right?
Wait a minute. I don't see how that's my problem.
Yeah,
Oh, really? Maybe I should get some coffee with my bagel. Dude, I love Agent Smecker. He's awesome. But yeah, keep an eye out for when I go live again. My schedule's at least Monday through Fridays, 8 p.m. Central Time. And then Saturday and Sunday, probably around 8 p.m. Central Time or earlier because everyone else has to stream around the same time I try to stream. Ugh. Oh, Spider-Man 1. Oh, yeah, that's
okay.
right. When he walks past it. You could have stopped that guy. Now he's going to get away with my money. I forgot the part where that's my problem. Then he hits the button. That sort of stuff. So, all right. I dilly-dallied along. So, take care. Peace. Catch you guys on the flip side. As Rocco would say from the Boondock States, catch you on the flip side. See you guys later.